Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another full-length complete tutorial at Websites for Beginners. I am your host, JB, for the next few hours, and it's going to be a few hours. Remember, Websites for beginners, so we take things slower, step by step, to make sure that you really get the hang of it. Themify, have you ever heard of Themify? I like these guys. I've done a few things with Themify, but this will be the first ever that we do Themify for this channel. If you've never heard of them, you can skip around through the timestamps in the description below to learn a little bit about what Themify can do for you. If you are looking for a theme page builder, site builder, at a very good competitive price that's going to help you get up quickly, then look no further, because Themify comes loaded with many pre-made sites and skins and demos that you can use, and new ones constantly being added, and they are really very well developed. The site that we're going to be making is an engagement wedding site. It's an RSVP site, so it's a landing page because it has a call to action. We want our visitors, our guests, our friends and family to come to our site and then respond to our invitation by completing an RSVP. You can see it starts here with Nadia and Oleksiu's getting married, and they look very happy. I guess it's a little bit cold from the weather, but they still look happy. Then if you come to the site, you can go through it, and there's a little bit about them, a story about Nadia and Oleksiu, and then more about them. Nice little gallery as well, with a light box that you can click on, and you can cycle through the images. Beautiful captions at the bottom, and then we can click out. Then we have arrangements, everything you need to be ready for when you go to the wedding. We have over here Accordion questions that you may have, registries if you want to buy them a gift with a nice little hover shadow effect for that, takes you there, and a contact form with a countdown. Who doesn't want a countdown? Maybe we should have put the countdown at the very top, made it very big. But nonetheless, we've got a very nice, fancy site here for Nadia and Oleksiu. They should have paid us more. Up here, we have these links that take us to different sections. So they can just click there on the RSVP. And if they want to know about the registries, they just do that. And then we also have here, you will see a scroll to top. So if we just need to go to the top. More than that, our site is also responsive. So if we go to something like the iPhone, we're not going to be disappointed. If somebody is going to be accessing this on their cell phone, they're going to get the same wonderful experience they would have gotten if they had been accessing this on a desktop with a nice little drawer, burger menu, and a drawer that comes out from that. And the contact form, yep, ready for you to work as well. This is what we will be making, and I'll just give the warning again at the very beginning. It's a lengthy tutorial. This is Themify Essentials. We have a set of how we approach themes, builders. We start with an Essentials that show you usually how the builder works, how the one-pager works, and then after that, the follow-up is Complete. And Complete will look at multifacets of the site. And then depending on what we are working with after that, we follow it up with blogging, WooCommerce, and if there are any other aspects to that builder, those are followed up with them. But we don't make promises, we just try to deliver, because making promises makes it very difficult to deliver. Before we kick off, just a quick thank you to everyone for the support in this channel. It's highly appreciated. So let's get rocking with Nadia and Oleksiu, and of course, Themify Essentials. Before we look at Themify, let's just take a quick moment who this tutorial is for. This is an Essentials tutorial, which means that number one, it's for people who basically know nothing about making websites. But because this is a Themify Essentials, it's more for people who know nothing about Themify. I do expect that you know something about WordPress, because I'm not going to cover all those basics about WordPress. And if you have no clue what WordPress is, go to WordPress for Beginners at w4b.io. And then you just go to the section under tutorials and you click here on Essentials. And that's where you start. Tutorials up here, you click on Essentials, follow that video on YouTube, and then also subscribe to YouTube to make sure that you stay up to date with everything that we release so that you can also keep on learning. We have a few that's still coming here, and then you can also check the e-commerce. But it's essential that you do have that background. If you don't, you're not going to know 95% of the time what I'm talking about, and it's just going to delay how quickly you can build your website if you try to tackle Themify without that foundation. But then you may already know a lot about WordPress. You may have been working with other page builders and you're quite proficient. And you don't want me to go as slow as I'm going to go. You maybe want to go a little bit faster. And for you, I've got timestamps in the description below. So if you just want to jump and see how does this work or how do you build that out, then just click on those timestamps in the description below. But be a little bit patient. Remember, this is a channel for beginners. So we just take it 2 steps back to make sure that when we get to the front, we never need to go back. At the end then of this very lengthy tutorial, you will be able to do essential work with Themify. That means that we'll be able to build out this one-page site. You'll understand the theme, you'll understand the builder, and you'll understand how to bring that all together. And that sets you up for the next tutorial on Themify. But for today, it's our engagement one-pager. As always, thank you very much for the support to this channel. Make sure that you subscribe, give us some love, and then also go check out as we put up new stuff on the website at w4b.io. Let's then talk about Themify. Themify is a horse of another color. And Themify has actually been around for quite some time. And that makes Themify one of the few, like Divi, that has a back-end and a front-end page builder. And it's kind of, when you see that back-end, you know that these guys were the guys who got it all started and that they had to transition into what we have today as front-end builders. And that means that they've got a lot of experience and there's probably a lot of features. But at the same time, it also means that you had to adapt and you had to bring in new things to adapt to the front-end builder. And you may hit a snag here or there. Let's talk about this horse that is of another color, because the first thing you have to think of in terms of Themify, yes, it has a page builder, but what very important is that it's actually all about the themes. You have the page builder, but essentially you need to buy the themes and then you get the page builder within the theme. And that's great, just like Divi. If you know Divi, then you have a theme and you have a builder that is compatible. You don't need to think twice about it. And because Themify are really good at making themes, their themes have really spectacular additional extensions and extra stuff included, especially the skins, which are demo sites. Themify has also brought in something really cool, copying what everyone else is doing, and that is the Builder Pro. I got confused a lot about Builder Pro. I thought it's the page builder, but when we say Builder Pro, we really mean a site builder, which is a theme builder. Traditionally, where Themify would have given you the theme ready-made with the customizer, now you can also build that out, your own header, your footer, your WooCommerce, archive pages, all of that can be done with the Builder Pro. In this tutorial, we do not cover that. That will be in Themify Complete after Themify Essentials. What we will be using today is the Ultra theme. Now, Themify has more than one theme. And all of these themes use the same builder. And in fact, if you go to the WordPress repository and you search Themify Builder, you're going to find their builder there, and it's for free. You can use their builder for free with any theme. But I would say, I found that it works the best out of the box with the Themify themes. So you can do that, but I would recommend stick to Themify. So essentially, Themify at the end of a day is a paid option. It's not going to be something that you're just going to throw in there for free. You do need to go and get Themify, and we'll look at the pricing soon because these guys have got some super pricing. They also have another theme that's very popular called Shop Theme, and this is when you want to create an online shop. When we get to our shop, we will do that for you after the complete. See all 48 themes. Many themes, I recommend though that when you sign up, you would only probably stick to Ultra theme. And if you're making an online store, it's going to be the Shop theme. The others are great, but maybe in terms of responsiveness, functionality for the modern age, maybe some of them are a little bit long in the tooth. The other thing that Themify also has is a lot of plugins. If I go up here to plugins, you can see it's got a post type builder, tiles, announcement bar, pop-ups, and these work very well with the Themify themes, but it also works on other WordPress themes not related to Themify. Good. Let's talk about the pricing. Go to themes and you will find pricing over here. So you can go ahead and you can get the single themes, buy one theme at $59, 1 year support and updates. Because if you go Master Club, which is what is that? $30 extra. You get a total of 42 themes, plus 11 plugins, 25 builder, blah, blah. If you want to go for Themify, screw the single themes, you go for the Master Club. You have to spend that extra $30. Don't lose out on that, because you get Builder Pro, and there's a lot of cool stuff with Builder Pro that we will cover in Themify Complete. Then over here is the Lifetime Club. Now, I'm a sucker for Lifetime Club, and you need to stick around because Themify often have discounts during the year, and sometimes they've got some pretty cool discounts going on. So you can get the Lifetime Club plus a little sweet discount on the side if you check out what's going on there. To support the channel, when you do decide to get any of these, please follow the affiliate link in the description below. Good. So for our tutorial, you will need to have, I would say, the Master Club. And from there on, you're going to sign in once you have that into your member area. And this is where all your downloads for everything is. Downloads, everything are, is. Good, so you can see here, we've got all the plugins that you can download, add-ons, your builder add-ons. So you get the Themify page builder, and then you get all these additional ones that you can add, and these are pro. If you use the Themify builder directly from the WordPress repository, you're not going to have access to these add-ons because they are pro. What Themify also does, it lets you install them one by one, so it's modular approach so that you don't have everything at the same time. It becomes bloated and you don't use it. And then here at the bottom, this is where you can kickstart everything with a theme. If you know you want to use the flat theme, or you want to use the shop theme, or you want to use agency, ultra, remember I will always focus on ultra, then you go here and you download ultra. And then there are also some theme mockup PSD files if you want to play around with that. Everything is here. All you need to do is go check out Themify, or if you don't want to invest in it, keep watching the video to see what Themify can do. I've said it now 2 times, but when I say Themify is a horse of another color, I really enjoy working with Themify. You get that sense of a traditional old school combined with something new. But one of the things that Themify does really well is it has an abundance of features which many current and modern page builders are really struggling with, that Themify just does very well. Dynamic content and features and add-ons. So when you get there and you start working with it, it's going to take you a little bit of time to get used to the interface, which is normal for any software. But then once you get into that, it becomes quite intuitive and quite a joy to use. And I hope that at the end of this video, you get to understand the power of Themify, because I don't think we're even going to cover 5% of what you can actually do with Themify in this tutorial. Enough of Themify, we'll get back here. Let's get into WordPress and let's do housekeeping first. Housekeeping is my starting block. I want to take things out so that I know when I bring things in and I install it, it works the same for you as it would for me. The first thing I will do is I will go to posts, all posts, and we will get our hello world there. And I will say trash that. And good measure, go to trash and empty the trash. Pages. And select both of these. Actually, privacy policy is usually something you should keep so that you can put it in your footer. But guess what? We're going to throw it in the bin. Trash, empty trash. And then next I will go to settings, general, and I will just change the language here. I'll put it on English South Africa. No big changes. And UTC, you can put it, I'm on UTC +2, or I can put it on a city that's here for my time zone, which is Johannesburg, which I don't see now. I remember it was there. There we go. I just type it in, Johannesburg, and then say Save Changes. And the next thing I want to do is just go and check my permalinks down here, permalinks, and then put it on post name, and then say Save Changes. And while we did this, you will see an update has appeared over here. This often happens when you change the site language. It will tell you, hey, you need to do some updates. So we go there, and it will ask you to do translation updates. And that's it. Our site is ready. Let's jump back to Themify. And remember what I told you at the beginning. With Themify, your main focus is going to be the theme. And then with the theme, you get the page builder. And you have all those themes to choose from. But for a workable and confident solution, we will choose the Ultra theme. How do you go about getting this? Go to the members area, member area. And you may be tempted, because that was the old way, to go down to themes and look for Ultra theme and download it. And once you download it, you're going to install it like you would do a theme through the theme area under Appearance. But in the last year, Themify has made some changes. And I would recommend for anything you want to install now, if you've got the Master Club, is to go up here to the plugins and look for Themify Updater. I would have preferred calling this the Themify Manager, because that's actually what it does. It allows you to install directly from this plugin any of the themes, any of the demo, the skins, etc. But it's called Themify Updater. And once you install the Themify Updater, let's click on it to download it. It's also easier because it will ask you your password and your license from the beginning. And then you have access to everything that you've signed up for. That's it. I have downloaded the Themify Updater. I'm not going to show you my license key, but where you will get your license key is over here, and you will need to have your username as well. Let's go back here. Plugins. Let's see what we have in terms of plugins. Yep, there may be a few. I forgot to housekeep these two out. Let's select them and delete them. Akismet and Hello Dolly. Add new. And because we are uploading this one, we have to click here again on Upload Plugin. And I'll go here to the bottom, click and drag, drop, install now. That was quick. Activate the plugin. And once we've done that, you will see when I go to Dashboard now here, it will say Themify License, which is also interesting because now the Themify Updater is renamed Themify License, and actually it's a manager or it's a library. But anyway, hopefully they can do something about the terminology. Let's see what they say over here. Well, the plugin has been activated, yip-de-doo, and then it says license key or username is missing, please enter the Themify license. That's important, otherwise you won't be able to get access to all the content in there. Click on Themify license, and then over here under Manage License, you're going to put in your Themify username, which is the one I pointed out to you, and then your license key and save. And I've also selected to hide it so that you don't steal it. Let's close this bar here at the bottom for a little bit more real estate. Just take notice again of where this is. It's under your dashboard and Themify. Let's just do that for memory muscle, Themify license, and here we go. What we're interested in though now is what we see up here. We see the themes, and this is going to show you all the themes you have access to, the themes that we mentioned earlier. And you can see Ultra comes here #1 because that is the #1 theme. And you should just stick to Ultra unless, like I mentioned, you want to go WooCommerce, then you can go for Shop. But under extreme situations, should you touch these other guys, stick to Ultra. You also have then access to the plugins. And you have a number of plugins here. You have the Builder Pro, which we're not going to use in this tutorial. And then you have the Themify Builder and a few others as well. We may come back to these. No, we're not going to come back to these. We're going to come back to Builder add-ons. So from the plugins, Builder add-ons, and this is all the extensions, enhanced functionality that you can get for the Themify Builder. And then you also have additional add-ons. Everything can be installed from here. What is status? Status. Okay. License check. Okay. Not interested. Let's go to themes. And this is where we install Ultra now. Click install. Are you sure you want to install this? Absolutely. Click on OK. And if you hear birds in the background, since I've moved house, really extremely loud birds, and many of them. I love it. So I'm not complaining. I'm just warning you if you hear birds. It's not those in my head. It's those in the garden. It has installed it for us under themes now. And like normal, we have to activate it. Here is where you have to keep things together and don't get lost. We have this splash screen that has opened now with demo skins for Ultra. So many of these themes, like Ultra or Shop or Agency, they come with their own skins that you can apply to the theme you've used. And these are ready-made sites. It's awesome. You can go and buy themes like this with a ready-made site for $70 plus or $50. But with Themify, you can get that master bundle for what? Just under $300 for a lifetime, unlimited sites. And look at all these demos just for the Ultra theme. Absolutely stunning. And it's really, really good demos. And then, since this year, you also have the Builder Pro, which brings in Builder Pro contents elements as well. And that's really, really cool. I keep talking about things we're not going to do in this tutorial. I am not going to import any of these because then I'm not going to teach you anything. We want to understand how to work with Themify from scratch. You could just go to the default and click on import, or you can choose any of these that tickle your fancy and import, like this Ultra Photography, the same one that we saw on Themify's website. Ultra Profile, if you need to make a CV, then all of that, you just click on it and you import it. We're not going to do that, so we close out here. Up here, it's going to tell you that the theme requires the following plugin, Themify Portfolio Posts. Dismiss this notice. Why? Because we're not going to be working with portfolio posts at all, so you don't need the plugin, and what you don't need, you don't install. Dismiss this notice. With Themify and WordPress, you're essentially going to focus on 4 to 5 workspaces. Let me just quickly run you through that. The first workspace is always going to be your WordPress workspace, and that's all done here from the sidebar, your dashboard, your appearance, your settings, etc. And then your second workspace is going to be your Themify Ultra Themify settings. You're going to do a lot actually within the settings. And this is very similar again to Divi, where you have these settings in the back end, and that is just very historical, and making huge changes to that now will confuse a lot of people. The second area you're going to have a workspace for is your customizer. So though you have all these settings for the Themify Ultra theme here, to make front-end changes as well, you always will go to Customize. And you can get that under Themify Ultra, Customize, or like usual, you go to the front end and you click on Customize in the WordPress toolbar. And we'll come back to this because there's a lot to do here. And you will note that they have a basic area, which we're going to be doing everything in, and then also advanced. So they've really set it up so that you don't need all those additional features that you often get in many page builders. Take out the clutter and put the advanced in a separate tab. Close here. That's our third workspace. The fourth one is going to be your builder. And then the fifth one is also going to be your builder. How come so, Sally? Well, Sally, the thing is, I mentioned earlier that Themify actually is a backend builder as well as a front-end builder. and I'll show you in a wee bit what that means once we've created a page. But what I want you to take away from these 4 to 5 workspaces is that you're going to be jumping around a little bit between these areas. And sometimes when you look for something, you're not going to be entirely sure where to find it. Are you going to find it here under the Themify settings, or are you going to find it under Customize? This is where I don't want to blow my own horn, but I want to say, if you follow these tutorials, like this Essentials and then the Complete, I've done all the legwork. I've sat the other day for really half an hour plus trying to figure out where a function was, and it was actually so obvious. But this is what happens. You end up spending 30 minutes, 45 minutes, over hours looking for something that's staring you right in the eye. And instead of going through that like I had to go through it, I hope through this tutorial you can see where those things are and it will be easy for you to find it. And because of that, again, look down in the description at the timestamps, and you will see, for example, when I talk about the scroll to top function, you will see it in the timestamps. So no need for you to go hunting around and trying to find out where those settings are. At this point, I think we do need our page. Remember, we are creating a single page. Pages, all pages, and what we've got here is absolutely nothing. Let's click on Add New. And then we have the normal welcome, block editor, blah, blah, blah. Click out here. And I'm going to make one change here. This is my personal preference. With the new block editor or new block editor layout that they've done in recent updates, they've taken away the WordPress toolbar here on the left. This seems like a great idea because now you have more space. It's great if you're working in the back end. We are not going to be working in the back end. We're going to be working in the front end. But often you need to come here, and then when you exit, you want to see that sidebar so you can easily navigate to whatever you are looking for. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you think I'm totally losing it, let me show you. From the toolbar here at the top, go to these 3 dots where it says More Tools and Options. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to deselect full screen mode, and the following is going to happen. I get my toolbar back. I want that. Now let's go back. We are at peace again, close the settings, and let's first give our landing page, which is the only page we've got for this engagement site, a title. And I'm going to call it Home. As simple as that. And publish. And publish. We're just going to have one page, so I'm not going to make crazy changes here. Let's go and view this page. So I'll Control-click, Command-click, and that will open it for me in a new tab in the browser. And this is what we've got. So this is currently how this page looks. Let's just talk a little bit about what we see here from Themify. Like any builder, the thing that we see here is that we've got a header. So our header up here, there is our header. And then we have a footer down here. Great bananas. And then we have our page title up here. And it's very clear that we've got a sidebar over here. And then it says Turn on Builder. So this is going to be our page building area. And we're going to make a few changes here. We're going to deactivate the footer. We don't need that. We're going to deselect the sidebar. And we're going to also disable this page title here. We really don't need that at all. There are a few places we can do that. But before we do that, what I want to do is just go and assign this page as our home page, because currently it's just a static page. Exit here, clear, exit, and then go back to the back end. Go to Settings, go to Reading, and then your home page displays a static page, and put it on Home, Save Changes. And now when I go up here to my site and I click on it, it's going to show me the home page, the exact same one like this one. Clean up here. Let me take this one away and go back to the back end. And let's begin working on making our site look like something worthwhile. In the sidebar, Themify Ultra, Themify Settings, and we begin here. And the first one that we're going to do is the first option they give us here, and that is favicon. Strangely, if you click on favicon, it's not going to give you the option to get it from the media library, something they really can think about. You have to click on upload, which will open up your Explorer and your Finder. Here is my favicon, open, and it will upload that for me, and let's save it. And let's go see, refresh the front. And there is our little favicon up there. If I click out here, you can see on a dark background, it really stands out very nicely. Let's go back. From here, go to theme settings, and we're going to make a number of changes over here. And all of them under theme appearance. And there's quite a number of things that we are going to do here. I think not to jump around too much, let's try and stick to a few things and point out to you what we've got here at the top. We have a search icon, which I don't want. And we're going to disable that here under header design. You look for exclude search form. No need for that within our header for an engagement site. We don't have widgets, we don't have social widgets, but if you want, you can also click exclude this just to make sure that they don't appear. Another thing that I'm going to do, and you cannot see it here, is that it already has a sticky header. The Ultra theme from Themify comes with a sticky header. Don't need that sticky header. We're working with a one page, and it's not always necessary to have a sticky header. I know you may insist to have it, but it isn't. So from the beginning, I'm going to say disable sticky header. But there's another thing that I want. I will want to have that transparent header. This header up here, I want it to overlap my hero image at the top. And I'm going to set my transparency from the beginning. And that is also done here. Enable revealing header. I click on that one, and you can see that also removes the sticky header. A lot of things that I have excluded over here. Let's save it and see how this affects it. So what we expect to see is for that one to disappear and maybe this to move up. Let's see. Yep. And now you see it has moved over the content that we have here. Let's go back and scroll down. What is next? Mobile menu style. We're okay with that. Footer design. We don't want the footer. So we click here on no footer, and that takes it away for us. Okay. And then let's go back and say save. And then refresh. And our footer is gone. We still have the page title here, and we still have the sidebar. We also want to remove that. Scroll up to where you see default layouts. This is a page we are working with, so look for the default page layout. Sidebar, click here on no sidebar. Hide title in all pages. And we only have one page, so I say yes. Why does it ask me hide title in all pages? Because maybe you don't want to hide it. You just want to hide it on some pages. And if that is the case, you will go into the page under the Gutenberg editor and you will just deselect it there. You don't need to do it for each and every page. And that's it. So let's say save. Go to the front, refresh. And all we're going to see now is our header. And we're going to see this area we can start building our page. Back to WordPress, because I'm going to set up a menu already. Sidebar, appearance, and then menus. We create our new menu, which I'm going to call my main menu. Create. And let's assign it also, make sure we assign it to the main navigation. And naturally, at this moment, once I've created it, it's not even going to say home. It's going to take that out. It's going to be empty. Why do I want to have a menu? The reason I want a menu is I'm going to create jump links. Really easy links for people to scroll to certain pages on the site. I will have the site for registrations where people can go and buy my gifts for this engagement, accommodation, and then I will also have a link for RSVP. These are going to be custom links. We are going to create them ourselves, and I'll create them already now so that I can see how it's going to look. Often I'll do everything and I'll come back at the end and create it at the end. But because I know what I'm doing now, I'm going to create them now. Go to custom links over here and then put in a hash first. And then the first one we're going to do is RSVP. Keep it small letters. I started typing in capitals, but keep it small. And what is the text you want to appear in the link? RSVP. Click Add Menu. Next one is going to be Registry. I'll just use it as one word. And I'll go here and type in the plurals, Registries. I have to remember that. Next one. And let's call this one Information. And I'll type here Information. And add it to my menu. And I think the first one I definitely want is the RSVP, then Information, and then Registry. So I'm going to select it like that, save my menu, go to the front, refresh, let's see what we've got. And we've got these three here. Nothing happening yet because we don't have anything. And even if I click on it, it's going to give me nothing except that hash plus the ID that we have to add in later. With this then done, let's make some changes to our site. And that is going to be our site title up there. And we will also want to change a little bit of the logo over here. To do this, we need to go into the theme customizer. And that's what I mentioned earlier about the workspaces. We had the Themify settings under Ultra, and then we have the customizer, and we have WordPress already 3. This is our third one. Go to customize, and as always, there are a few ways you can get into the customizer. Number 1 is to go to Themify Ultra and customize. Number 2 is to go to appearance, customize. And number 3 is when you're in the front end, you can just go to the WordPress toolbar up here and click on customize. Naturally, this means you've got a lot of windows open, so it's always a good idea just to close one in case you get lost. And here we are back in our customizer. We're only interested in changing our identity at this moment because we're a little bit confused. Site logo and tagline here, that's an easy one. Click on that. And the first one, site logo. I'm not going to use a logo. And I think this is something that we get a little bit lost in sometimes. You don't need a logo. You especially don't need a logo when someone is getting married and it's just an engagement site where you want people to RSVP and sign up for the registries. You really don't want the logo for that. But you still need to indicate to people what this site is all about. What we will do then, click on site logo. And we will say we're going to use the site title. So what we need to do is then change the site title. Highlight that and type in Nadia and Oleksiy. And I just tab and it updated there. All right. Site tagline, that's the one below it. We want to do that as well. See you on December 18th. In 2021. And that's it. And I really like how clean it is already. And I like the color as well. I'm not going to make changes to that. And now we've set up our site title and tagline as well. Publish that. While we are here, let's talk about typography. We want to already set the typography so that we don't need to go and make those changes all the time. Where do we get that? Go to body, body font, and this is going to be our normal paragraph text, the text that people will be reading, which means you need to choose a text that's very legible, easy to read, but at the same time, elegant and for a modern wedding. Over here, this is where you're going to look for the font. So you click on it, it's going to give you web safe fonts. I'm going to go for an old popular, which is Montserrat. Just type in the first few letters. It will give me Montserrat, and I click on that. What you need to pay attention to is that Themify has put the font weight at 100, and that's that font weight up there. No way you're going to make that your reading text. You need to go and look for something like 300 or 400, and you don't even see 400. Why? Because they call it normal. And that's what I also recommend. You go ahead and you put it on normal. That is going to be your body font. Then what we want is a different font for our headings. Headings over here, click on that, and then heading font 1. We don't want to use a heading 1. We're probably going to use only heading 2s and heading 3s. This will be our designation. And let's look again under the fonts. This one is Parisian, P-A-R, and that's all I need, Parisian. And we won't see it update here because there are no headings on this page yet. And I'll just go to heading font 3 and I'll do the same. P-A-R, Parisian. Okay. Let's close that and then I'll publish it. As I hover over these links, you will see they appear red. Is that the color I want? Probably not. Go to main navigation because this is your menu where you do your navigation. Then you look on menu link and menu link hover and menu link active. We don't need an active link because you're just on the same page, but you may want to change your menu link hover. Click on that one and then change here color. Which color am I going to use for here? I have created already a color palette from the images that I have collected for the site, and I have made this color palette using coolers. I brought in basically over here, create palette from photo. I brought the photo in and then I played around and this is how I created it. What I will do is I still need a dark color, but slightly different color. So I'm going to copy the hex code for this one. And then I'll go back and then transparent. I'll paste it. Control V. You see it finds the color for me there. And as I hover over these, the color changes slightly. That's right. And I think we are mostly done here. Nothing much more that I can think of at this moment. I'm not sure about the transparency 100% applied, but we'll come back and to see if there is still a background over it. Publish this, close the customizer. Because we accessed this page from the front end, when you close the customizer, it will take you to the front end again, which is our home page. And now you can see here, we've changed our logo and we now also have our site title up here. Go to WordPress and bring in our images, our creatives, media, library. And currently we should have our favicon here. Let's see, favicon is here, but I'm going to bring in all my other media as well. From my Explorer, your Finder, I select everything that I'll be using, which are these images, click, drag, and just drop them there. Let's see, it says here, post-processing of the image failed, likely because the server is busy or does not have enough resources. Uploading a smaller image, I know it's much smaller than that. What is my hero image? It's this one over here. Be careful, you may think it hasn't uploaded, but maybe it has. What I'll do is I'll refresh this and then let's see if it's there. Okay, no, it's definitely not there. So I'll just bring that one then in again. My hero image, drag it in. And don't give me that nonsense again. Please process it properly this time. Great job. I've had it done that where it says it didn't get it and then when I bring it in there were two of them. So that's why I want to make sure this time. The wonders of technology. Good, so our media is in, and I think we've got everything nicely set up. So with all of these settings done, I know you are burning to see how the builder works. Let's go and have a look at that. For this, go to Pages. You can just click on it. It's going to give us this home page that we've created. Click on it so that we can go into the WordPress editor to see what's what. Over here, you will see this bar appears, and over here, you see we have containers. This is the traditional backend builder, and that's way back when, where I started as well. Even before that, we did short codes. In many times, I do like a backend builder because they're very clean and they give you a great feeling of you just focus on the layout. You don't focus on anything else except the layout. But a front-end builder just saves you so much time because the problem with a back-end builder is you don't know how it looks. You just basically have data here. You need to constantly go and preview it to see how it looks. And that's why Backend Builders fell to the wayside, not that popular anymore. But every now and again, just like in Divi, you may have areas like, hey, what the hey is going on here? And you try to understand what module or what block you have here. And then I really like that wireframe display, which the backend gives you. But guess what? We're not going to be using the backend here. But be aware of it. Don't be scared of it. And don't sit and think, why is it there? It is something reminiscent of the past. And you know what? There are still many people who love it. And I'll even come back once in a while and have a look at it as well. So it's good to have there. It's part of the history, but just be aware it is there. The second part here that you can focus on is the part here at the bottom. And that is everything that we've done actually at the very beginning for the entire site. You will get now per page settings over here. Remember, we already switched the sidebar off. So we're not going to see the sidebar on the front end. Let's just open a preview, go to preview and preview a new tab. We remove the sidebar, we remove the page title, all of that within the Themify settings, and that applies it on a global scale. But if you come here, you're going to see that you can remove the sidebar here on a page-by-page basis, or you can activate it. And the same for the page appearance. If you go here and you go to body, you can set things over here, and header, you can disable that all over here. Go back to page options, because one thing I want to set here is content width. I'm not sure whether that was in the Themify settings. I don't recall, but you do want to choose full width. Select full width if the page is to be built with the builder without the sidebar. The moment you remove the sidebar, you want to go on full width. And that's the one change you have to make here. You see high page title. Yes, but it's already hidden, so we don't have to care about that. Let's just update that. Go to the front and see what changes, if we can see any changes. And we do see some changes. Your builder has disappeared here now under the full width, under the header. So it looks like it's gone. Don't worry, it's not gone. Page appearance, you get your body, header, footer, under body, you have a body background. These are things you should not be messing around with when you are working with the builder. You just leave them all alone. How do I go about then getting into the Themify front-end builder? And there are two ways you can do that. You see here, it says front-end. There's more than two, but in this case, front-end. If I click on it, it's going to open this page for me in the front-end builder. But because we have this preview window open here, and let's close this one. This is our front end now. You will see up here, it says turn on builder. And finally, by clicking this button, it will take us into the Themify page builder. Click, engage, lift off. And things look sparkly. If there's one thing that I really dislike about many online tutorials or even classes that you go and attend is when some person in the front sits and goes through, over here is modules, over here you find blocks, and then over here saved, and under modules you have all the rows. Then you can add a page break. Then here you have all the modules. This is an accordion, this is alert. And I'm doing exactly what I dislike. If you ever see a tutorial where someone starts like that, they're wasting your time. There are always many features in any program that you're not going to use, and they become blind spots. You don't see them. They just disappear. And only that one day where you need them, you're going to go look for them. But in most cases, you only need a few things. And that's the idea of the tutorials, is to help you show you where these things are practically. I'm not going to go through the interfaces, but as we get to each one in this essential video, I will tell you, hey, this is over here, or hey, that is over there. We'll be mostly working with this settings and editor on the right, but you can detach it, undock it. Currently it's docked here to the right. And this is not how Themify started at all. Themify never looked like this. It was totally different. Go up here to this bar here, click and drag and you detach it. This is a little bit more reminiscent of how Themify used to look, and I'm pretty sure you can resize it here as well. Yeah. And you can then go ahead and even dock it to the left. So you just drag it until you see that purple bar, let go, and now it's to the left. It's a preference. I am right-handed. I prefer my stuff on the right because my eyesight just always looks to the left, and because my mouse is on the right, it just feels right to me that I want to go to the settings on the right. But if you prefer it on the left, and actually that's where it used to be for a long time, then you go ahead and dock it to the left. It's very simple. You can do it, and you can keep yourself busy in case you've got nothing to do by docking it from the left to the right. And if you need to collapse it, you go here, you see the little arrow on the right, click it, and it collapses. And then you can just open it again. The first thing we'll need is to bring in some content, and we're going to be building out our hero image. Strictly speaking, I've screwed myself here because I made this header to overlap. And that means that I cannot see this button here. This button allows me to bring in my row. Click on it, and now we really run into a problem. Big mistake. So what Themify is basically telling you is, JP, we don't want you to make this overlap header at the beginning. You need to come back later, buddy, and do it later. So let's click here on save, just to save our page. And then we close out, which will take us to the front. Go to WordPress, Themify Ultra, Themify Settings. And we did that under Theme Settings, Theme Appearance, and that one was Enable Revealing Header. Right, we take it away, save, go to the front end again, and then say Turn on Builder. And you already see the Builder appears here, so I can just click on that, and it will also turn on Builder, and now things look smashing. Now I can see the button over here. I can even see this purple box up here. Pray tell, what is this purple box with another orange box inside? Again, a lot of things have changed in Themify. If you used Themify just a year or 2 years ago, a lot of what I'm showing you is going to be brand spanking new, and your eyes are going to roll over backwards a few times because a lot has changed. And the couple or the people at Themify has been working really hard at making this a modern experience. Kudos to them for doing that. What you have here is a row, and a row is the container in which everything comes in. Now, you know, in Elementor, we call it a section. In Brizy, we call it a block. In Divi, we call it a row, right? It's also a row. So all of them different names, but they are your main container, the container for a section. I prefer section because that's kind of how I see it. But remember, it's a section, it's a row, it's a block. And that row, which is your main container, is always purple. If you hover over it, you will see the bounding box, the purple here. And to access the settings, you can also just hover over that little teardrop that looks purple, and it will give you the toolbar here that pops out with settings and styling in it. Alternatively, you can just hover over an empty space within it and double click. And once you've double clicked, you will see here in the settings sidebar, now we have accessed the row options. Let's click out it again and say done, just to go back to this and do it again. Go up here. Let's go to the settings. If I click here on this one, it's just the options, and you will see that the options appear under it. And if you want to go to the styling and settings, you click here, row sidebar options have changed. You can also click here on row options. Click done again. The shortcut, remember the shortcut is simply hover over it, double click, and it opens it for you. That's really easy. The row is a container to hold other useful things. And strangely enough, when you get the row, it comes with this orange box inside. Same principle like before, Nigel. You have the orange dotted outline. And if you want to access the toolbar, you go to this little drop and you get it over here. And most of the time you'll click here on styling and it will open the styling options for you here. Click done. Alternatively, you can go to it and double click and it will do exactly the same. Very nice is you can also work with the breadcrumbs up here. If you have selected the column, but you actually wanted to select the row, you just click here on row and now it will open the row for you, or you can just select column down here. And this way you can work your way up and down through that container. One of the strangest thing to me is one column. I don't know why. I guess it makes a lot of sense that you can only have one column, but I remember the first time I started working with it, like in your column, one column. Some reason I always think a column should have more than one, otherwise it's just a page. But technically speaking, it is a column. If you want to have more than one column, what you do is you go to the row settings, this little cog, and under that, you will see the option to divide it into columns. You may feel, why do I need to go for these pre-selections? And I know a lot of people often nag about it, same like in Divi, you get these fixed columns at the very beginning. But you really need to actually stick to them 99% of the time. Website making is in a sense very fixed in that if you try to go too crazy, your site doesn't behave well, especially not on cell phone devices. Let's choose one of these and let's say we want 3 columns instead of just the one column. And now I select 3 and we get a few more options here which we're going to ignore. Hover outside and what you will see now is we have 3 orange areas, each with their little settings up here. And between them we have a little area we can resize them. So if you were not very happy about the fact that you didn't have control over it, you can do so down here. And I guess if you screw up, I wonder if you can reset that. Yep, you click on it and you have 3 equal columns again. Each column will have their own settings. To interact with it, like before, you can go here and click on styling or simply double click, and it will open those settings here, which we won't see the difference because all 3 of these columns look exactly the same. Let's start our hero section from scratch. Go here and click on delete. It's going to give you this warning. Good or bad, I don't know. The judgment is still out on this one. But Themify is really, really paranoid on you losing anything. Whenever you bring something onto your page and you want to delete it, it's going to ask you if you want to remove it and you will have to approve it. You'll say, great, right? You don't lose your work. But if you are playing around and you're bringing in just stuff onto your page, does this work? Does that work? It becomes a bit annoying. So just be aware of it. It's one thing I wish that there was a way to do this quicker. But on the other hand, I'm also very grateful for the fact that it doesn't want me to lose my work. We want to delete that row, so we say, okay. And now our page starts from fresh. Let's begin with our hero section. Click on this, and now we first have to bring in a row, and from the beginning, it will give us the option to bring it in with how many columns. In our case, it's only going to be 1 column. We're not going to need more than that. Click on this one and it gives us that default again, our row with 1 column. Double click on the row, go to the right, and under styling, the first thing we're going to do is bring in a background. Background type is image, background image, click here to upload it, and we'll just go to the media library and I'll look for my hero image, which is this one over here. Insert file URL. I want to make this section of mine a full viewport height, which means it stretches all the way from the screen at the top to the bottom within the browser. To do that, collapse here, go to row options and select row height here, full height. This will give me that full height by default. And you can see it stretches it and a few things happen. It stretches it, you will see the column, the orange here, is now stretched all the way. And you see a little scroll to top appears here at the bottom. And this is within the theme customizer, and we'll take care of this little dude later in this tutorial. So we have Nadia, we have Alexi. They look very happy. I say they look because in the other images, I think she's really mad at him. Let's bring in some content, which is called blocks. To do that, go here where you see the green button. And every time you click on a green little button or plus sign, you're going to get the content coming in. Interesting, you can bring in more rows. Yes, you can have rows within columns. And that way you can build out nice, intricate designs. If you need that, you're going to use it. We're not going to use it because we just need to stick to that one column. That's all we're going to use. But we want to have a heading, and we want to have a divider, then we want to have a subheading, and we want to have a button for this hero section. We can do all of that with a divider, a text, and then of course a button. But we can take part of 75% of that with one of these modules, and that is the fancy heading. Two ways you can bring in the fancy heading. One is click and drag it, and wherever you can place it, you will see that light blue background appears. If you don't see it, you cannot place it there. So you need to have that indicator of where it can go. I'll just drop it, and then we have it appear there. The second way you can bring it in, let's delete this. You see delete, it's going to ask me to delete. Click again here, and then scroll down again to fancy heading. Just click a plus, and it's going to place it to wherever you had activated that plus or add button at the beginning. Add module, and there it is in the same spot again. What you see now is that modules come in as blue. Modules are blue, rows are purple, columns are orange. This module, this fancy heading, consists out of three parts. You have the heading here, then you have a divider, and then you have the subheading here. Many front-end builders allow you to click here and type directly on it. Like I've mentioned though, is that one of the things you're going to keep in the back of your mind is that Themify has a little bit of an old school to it. So to change this content, you go here to the sidebar where it says heading, and you're going to type in, we are engaged. And Nadia's probably thinking, finally, after so many years and so many tears. And then for subheading, we're going to just type there, Nadia and Alexi, as if people didn't know it's them. They should know Alexi. HTML tag, we don't want it on H1. I'm going to drop it on H2. And the moment I throw it on H2, you see it draws that font that we had set in the customizer, which is Parisienne, and that's what we want here. What else we can do is I'm going to center align it, and you can choose if you want that divider or not. I kind of like the divider, so the divider stays. But now we need to make changes. We need to make the font bigger, and we need to apply a little bit of space here, and we also want to change the colors. For that, you just select styling. All the time, there's more than one way to do anything. If you hover over the module, you will find the context toolbar here, and the edit is always the content, which is what we've got here. Next to it is the styling, which is where you make changes to size and color and placement. You can access it directly from here, or you click up here. And you can follow this visual row, column, fancy heading, and then from here, you know what you are doing. Click on styling. Now here is where you have to be extremely careful if you are a first comer to Themify. You may want to go and make changes to this heading font, and you're not going to find it here. It's going to really drive you insane, and you're going to wonder, what am I doing wrong? Now this module consists out of various parts, and as such, Themify cuts these parts into their own areas. We have a heading, we have a subheading, we have a divider, and I forget what else. General. Hey, there's the queue. You see here next to this hamburger menu. If you click on it, it's going to give you the general settings, your heading, your subheading, and your divider. We want to make changes to our heading, click on heading, And now you see we've got options for the font and for a link. Click on font. We have our font family already set up. We're going to change the font color. Change that, click here. And from this is the color manager within Themify. A few interesting things to note here. Themify comes with these colors included, which we're not going to use. They don't fit our site at all. And what you do is you delete them here, and this is going to apply universally to all of these colors. I'm going to keep the white, and I'm going to keep the black. For this title, I want to use the white. So I click on white, right? And then I go to font size, and I can type in a font here, something, let's start with something like 68, see how that works. But the other great thing is, as I hover over it, you see my cursor changes to a double-sided arrow that points up and downwards. I love scrubby features where I can just click and drag. So I'm going to click and drag up. And by doing so, I have that control. I love that. I really, really, really like that a lot. Drag it up. And what is that? 120. And I like it as much, but I still want it pixel perfect. 120. Can we see that clearly? No, we cannot. So we'll make some changes to that. And those changes will be to add a little bit of a shadow to the back. As always, with anything in any page builder, you're going to see a lot of settings over here. You can go through them. And if we work with those, I'll show you what each one can do. Text shadow is the one that we want to look at for this moment. Click here. And you'd be tempted to use black. But a good graphic design tip is never to use pure black for a shadow. It's just one of those little tips people can give you. What you want is you want to have a dark color from your image, like here in the beard, maybe a very dark brown, something brick-like, and use that instead as just pure black. I've mentioned to you before, from this image, I had created this color palette. And you will see here, I have this, which is not 100% black. In fact, I call it eerie black. I'll copy this hex, go here, and then from this color picker, I'll click there, paste it, and then click save. And it's going to add it there for me at the top. Because this is so close to the black, I'm going to go ahead and delete the black. I'm just not going to use black at all. I'm going to stick to this eerie black, which is, for all intents and purposes, for our eyes, almost black. Now we're going to create a text shadow. Horizontal shadow, vertical shadow, and blur. Again, I'm just going to click and drag up a little bit, like that. Look at that. And then vertical shadow just like that. But this is so yesteryear shadow. We're not going to do that at all. We need to add blur. Add a lot of blur, like that. And then it's way too strong. A big mistake that newcomers make when adding shadow. This is just way too strong. We don't need that. Go to the color, and where you see the 1, this is where you apply the transparency. Click on it, and the slider down here, just drag it. And I'm going to drag it all the way to 0.2. And you will think it doesn't make a huge difference, but trust me, it does. It makes a big difference. It separates your text a little bit from the background. Why didn't I just use black? Black may have been better for my font text, but white is more elegant. It's more wedding style, it gives you more of that wedding dress feeling, So that's why we want to go for a softer color for our heading. I'm looking at the font size. I think I want to increase it even more. There we go. There. Okay, good. So that is our heading. We've done that. And then we want to change the bottom subheading, and also we want to change that divider. Get into those, click on the hamburger. Let's do subheading first. Same procedure, click on font. And I'm going to change the font color to white. And then the next one is increase the font size. This one I'm not going to make too big. Let's put it 48. But I'm going to override the font. Even though it is set to H2, for my subheading, I want to use my Montserrat font. I just want that little bit of difference there. So within the font Within the font family, I click and type in Montserrat. I click that, and there we go. And let's change the font weight to something like 300. That's better. And then I'm going to reduce the size a little bit. And now I'm wondering, shouldn't we make that a darker color perhaps? Click here and let's choose that eerie black. Let's leave it and see how it works. Go to the top where you select the different parts, subheading, and choose your divider. The only thing we really want to do at the divider is add space at the top and the bottom to separate these two headings. Click on margin. I'll click and drag until I see that divider with this descender here, this GG at the bottom. Give it a little bit more space, and then I'll try and apply more or less the same here. Now, you know, we always tell you this is a good rule in graphic design. This is a good rule. You don't use things in contrast, etc. And then we go ahead and we don't do it. Often you'll put something like Nadia and Alexi here, just to show it's Nadia and Alexi. But what did I mention? People who come to this site will know exactly who Nadia and Alexi is. They are friends. They've been invited to this site. So you don't really have to say Nadia and Alexi. And when you have information like that, that becomes less prominent. You can go and break those rules a little bit here. And that's why I'm going to keep that black. I'm not even going to give it something to stand out from the back. I'm going to leave it like that. Let's say done. And I'll click on save. But I want to go and view it on the front end. Within Themify, they have a preview option. And the preview option is here in the Themify top bar. You will see there are a number of icons here. And this is the one you want to look at, preview. It kicks Themify into preview mode as how it will look on the front. Right? And if you want to go back to the builder, you just deactivate the preview button. With all of this, what I want to do a little bit is just add a little bit more space here at the top and bring their heads down a little bit lower. That is the image for the row. Remember, how do you enter the settings for the row? Any area where you see your settings, you can click here on styling, but double click. I'll double click. It opens it for me here. Styling, background. And as I scroll, you will see I have the position where I can place it. And I am going to grab that focal point slider and just drag it up a little bit, just to add a little bit more space at the top. I can even drag it to the sides. And I'm going to do it a little bit like that. Just a little bit to the right, so that they can be a little bit more center aligned. Great feature to be able to place that focal point anywhere you want. Let's preview it again. Click here on preview. And not a bad job. We are essentially done with this part, but before we move on, the number one mistake we all make is to forget about responsiveness. And I know many people watch these tutorials, they get annoyed when we get to this part because this is now additional. How does it look on a tablet? How does it look on mobile? But I'm going to show you exactly why that is so important. I'll copy the URL here currently at the top, Control Command C, and I have this developer tool called Sissy. This is not an extension, it's a completely different thing. It's a developer tool in which I can preview my site on different devices. I'll paste the URL and enter it. And it's going to show me how this will look. At the bottom here is a good HD display. It looks really cool, right? People will say, oh, Nadia and Alexi, oh, look at those two lovebirds. Did he brush his teeth? And then here on a small laptop, oh, it still looks good. Really? It does, yeah. And then over here, MacBook Air. Oh, yes, we can feel it. But wait a minute, what's going on over here? And that is why we will tell you all the time, you have to go and make those responsive changes. I see people all the time sitting on their iPads, and then all of us at some point look at our phones. The thing is, 60+% people access websites on phones. I know that when I track a lot of the things happening on websites for beginners, that most people actually do it from their PCs. But you don't want people to think you're a complete loser by sending them a link and they quickly view it on their phone and it looks like this, because they know this guy, definitely we don't hire him. That is why I recommend that every time you finish a section, you go ahead and you make your tablet and mobile responsive first before you finish your entire page. Making things fit is sometimes, well, most of the time, not as easy as you think. And it can be very discouraging when you come to the end of a very long session and you find that nothing works and you have to go back and change all of that. So remember that. Let's go back into the page. And to do that, you can do that also in a number of ways. The easiest one is up here within the toolbar to choose the different kinds of previews for responsiveness. This one is tablet landscape. This will give you your iPad, but landscape mode. This one is tablet portrait. And this one will be for mobile. And we see we have a few things to make. The absolute amazing thing about Themify is, as you go through these various views, you can make changes here in the settings sidebar for that view and it will not affect the other view. The only tip you need to remember is always work from top down. Start on your desktop because every change that you make filters down and resonates down to the bottom. If I click now on tablet landscape, two things that I want to do. I want to change the size of this font first. I click here, go to settings, make sure I select heading, font, and then I just reduce the size of the font. But the image looks a little bit unbalanced now because we moved the focal point for the desktop. I'll go here where I know my canvas is for my row, double click. Here's my row, styling, background, and I'll just bring that focal point a little bit. That. Good. That's it. Next one is go to tablet. Tablet, same thing. Select here, go to styling, select again your heading, font, and then reduce it. Now, what you can do from here is you can just go to mobile and click on mobile, and then it will stay open here for your font size, so you don't have to worry about going back and forth and clicking on styling and settings every time. For the mobile though, I think it's a little bit, one line is too little. So I'm going to increase the font size, break it to 2 lines, and then go to line height and increase the line height like so. But I want you to think about something about this mobile size, right? I want you to really think about this mobile size. We've made everything responsive at this moment. I'm going to click on save. And then let's go look in Sissy in the developer front end what we've got here. I will refresh this. And our tablet is going to look cool. And our mobile, instead of 2 lines, and even Nadia and Alexi, looks like this. What's going on here? The secret or the answer lies in the resolution of your display. Let's look at these 2 mobile devices. And I know you're thinking this has got nothing to do with Themify, but it's got everything to do with how it looks. And no page builder, no editor is perfect. And these are ways that you can just figure out a little bit at what's going on to understand why your site doesn't look good on a mobile device. If you look at the Galaxy S10, you will see that your width is 360 pixels. Your iPhone is 375, a tad bigger. Your problem is that when you go into Themify, and I'm going to just go here where you see this blue bar. You see, I put the cursor there and it becomes blue. I click, it gives me 599, which I believe is 600 pixels. So Themify says, the size that we put for mobile is going to be 600. Everything below 600 pixels is mobile, which is not ideal. You can go and change that, but I won't recommend it. But your problem is, how can you fix this? And this is how you're going to do it. Grab this blue bar, click and hold, and drag it in to 300 What is it? 360? Let me just check again. 360. As close to 360 as you can, 359. And now you make changes to it. And that you only need to do for mobile. But I really love this feature, really nice, maybe a step or two extra. So we go again to heading and then font, and I'll reduce that until we have 2. Okay, and now I'll also have to reduce the line height. Then Nadia and Alexi also go to subheading, font, and font size, reduce that, Nadia and Alexi. Let's see if the position is okay. I'm going to double click here in the purple area. Go to background. Yeah. Okay, good. Save that. Let's see if we've had success. Refresh this. Pretty good. There we go. That looks much better, much better. Now, the next thing, before we say we're done with this section, let's go back to our desktop, is that I want to bring in a button. And the reason for the button is I want to make the button RSVP. When people click on that, it will take them to the form at the bottom where they can RSVP. To do that, you can select this one here and then go to the plus. To do that, you go here to the bottom where you see that plus and the green, which green is for modules, and you look for button over here. If you cannot see the button, you just simply type in there button, and I'll click and drag it, and you'll see I can place this one of 2 places, at the top or at the bottom, and I'm going to drop it at the bottom. Let's click on it. Already it's editing over here, and we have styling. Let's see, small. I like small. Default. I think default is better. The shape, I'm going to give it circle. So we give it nice rounded pull edges. The background, you have a solid background. You can have an outline or no background. I will go for solid. And then for the alignment, let's put it in the middle. Scroll down, and we have to change the button text over here. And I will call this RSVP. And that's what we're going to be doing here. Your link is important though. And already I'm going to link it to my RSVP section, which means when you link something on the same page, you use a hash. Remember, here at the top, I also used that when I was creating the custom link. This hash indicates to your site that it's on this page and it's at the section called RSVP. We don't have that section yet, but I'm adding it already now because I know that's where it will be. Next, we go to styling. And the first thing I want to do is add space between Nadia and Alexi. Let me show you a very cool feature that we have within Themify. If I go here to RSVP at the top and I hover until I see that blue line and I see my cursor changes to up, down arrow, click and hold and drag. And it's going to automatically add space. Now this is padding. That's very important to understand. What you are doing is that you're adding padding. You could add padding, or you could have done it with margins, which I was about to do, and then I changed my mind. And if I let go and we go to padding here on the right, you will now see it says 56 that it has added there at the top. And if you can read there very carefully, you will also see 56 pixels. Let's change a little bit of the font. So I'll go to the font. I like it on Montserrat, but I want to change the font weight. Let's change the font size a little bit, and I'll add a little bit of letter spacing. Good. And our button, let's save this, and we'll preview it from here. Let's see, that's right. Oh, you can choose here. Cool. I didn't know that. Let's put it on the iPad Pro. Okay. Thank you. I didn't know that. I just learned something. Let's put it again on tablet. It's still on the iPad Pro. Looking good, Nadia and Alexi. And then mobile. Look at that. Look at that. I didn't know. Feel like a fool. Learn something here. Together we learn. Good. And this is then the Galaxy S9. Absolutely stunning. Let me just switch off the preview, but okay. So I guess when you do that, this is how you put up the settings. Let's put it on desktop and we are done. Absolutely stunning. We've made a very, very nice hero section at the top. We have our lovebirds there about to fly over the ocean. And then we have our header here at the top, which we can go back now and make it that transparent header. Let's see how we can do that. Are you still with me? We're a good ways in and still a way to go. And remember, if at any point you feel it's getting a little bit too lengthy, maybe watch it at double the speed or just jump to a specific area of your interest. Follow the timestamps in the description below. We've created our first section, a few more to go, but from here things go a little bit quicker because we are getting more and more the hang of what the Themify Builder can do. Scroll to the bottom and we'll bring in the story about Nadia and Alexei. Click here and this will bring in a new row for us. And this time we are going to select over here 2 columns. Scroll down so you can see the purple. We've got our row and then inside we've got these columns. We bring in 1 column and within this column we are going to bring in another one of those fancy headings. This is going to be the heading that we will be using throughout for our sections. Let's click on it and then we change over here to our story. Because everybody wants to hear. And then subheading, select it and delete it. And it's going to take out the subheading. We don't need that. We just want that heading and we also want that divider. Your HTML tag, you're going to put it on H2 just to get that font again that we need. And we center align it all. We leave the divider there. Go to styling, select the heading, font, and we change the font color to this one here because it should come in at black. And then the font size we're going to increase to around 66. Why is that going over like that? And it's an interesting setting for the line height. So what you do for the line height to make sure that everything is within 1 line height, first of all, you set it on EM. Don't worry about M, just put it on M and then 1 M value. And you will see now it is nicely spaced all the way to the top. We still need more space at the top, but that is for our row, which is this purple box. And to bring in that space, which is padding, go here, hover at the top, click and hold and drag. And we're going to add around 100 to 120. Let's go around the 100 and then let go, hover over it, go to the middle where it says 100 pixels, click on it, and then select these 2, which means once you select that, it is going to connect the top and the bottom padding, and it's going to apply the same value of 100 pixels. Click that, and if I scroll now, you will see here at the bottom, I also have 100 pixels. Now, when I click on this one and I drag, the bottom is going to add the same amount of space as well because the 2 are connected. Right, there you see. Let's just reduce it to 100. I think I didn't get it perfect the first time. Let's stick it to 100 and then click again on our fancy heading module. Go to our settings. Let's just under heading, we are at 66. Let's make this 72. And then select our divider. And then for the divider, click on margin. I'm going to just click and drag to add a little bit more space. Go to width. And for the width, click and drag, and we take it up to around 80, let's put it on something like 84 pixels, little space. And I think we need to add a little bit more margin over there. And let's make it a little bit thicker. Click on border, and currently it is selected to top. So make sure you keep it on top. Select the color. And then from the color over here under solid, you just take it to 2. Well, 3 is too much. Take it to 2. And we can collapse these panels again. Those will be our section headings. And then for the future sections that we'll build out, we're just going to copy this and drag it down. No need to do it all over and over and over again. Now hold on. because I'm going to do a few things that may confuse you. What do we have here in terms of our layout? Layout, our grid. We've got two containers, right? Do you remember the containers? The purple one, that's our row. That's our main section container. And within that, you always have a column, a minimum of a column. And this column that we've got here is this orange one. If you want to understand this in terms of a visual presentation, let's save it up here and click on Backend. And this is where I told you where I often like the Backend Builder, because it shows you that visually how these are all fitted inside of each other. This up here, then you can see this purple one. This is our hero section. And we have that with one column inside. And then we have these two modules, fancy heading and button. As I show it to you, you can also understand the limitations of a back-end editor is that you have this very cold, mechanical, unsatisfactory way of looking at your site. And you'll need to jump every time to the preview to go and see it. But what you do have is you have a very good impression of how the grid is structured. Then if we go here, we have a new section, purple, and then inside it, we've got the one column, which you always need a column. And then from here, we have our fancy heading module inside that column. What I want to do now is bring in two columns under this one. But to do that, you need to bring in another row. So think very carefully. You have the purple row, then you have a column, and inside that column, you can put another row with a column. Okay, let me show you how to do that, but we'll go to the front end because we want to stick to the front end so that you know exactly how that works. Scroll down, and here we are in our editor. And to do that, all you need to do is go to our little plus and add green button here. And you will see that you can add rows. But these are not your section rows. They are the rows within columns. And what I'll do is I'll grab this one here and I'll click on the add column or add row. And now you will see that we have two columns here, which are orange as well. But they are inside this violet magenta looking row. So you have your main row that's purple, and then you have this row that's magenta. Let's say it's your magenta row, and this is our purple row. Let's work on the left column first, and we are looking for an icon. Click and just type icon, and I'll just click on add it, and then select it by clicking on it, and we go to the options sidebar here. So the size, we can play with small, large, extra large. I'll go for extra large. And then we have the icon shape, rounded, none. I don't want a shape, so I'm going to select none. And then here, where it says icon, label, I will first delete the label. I don't want a label. And then for the icon, click on that little one. It's going to open up what we can choose from. There's Themify. You have Font Awesome here, if you want to use theirs instead. And then you also have Fontello. If I go to Font Awesome and I look for weighting, I'm not going to find anything I remember, even Themify. I wish I could have them all selected at the same time. Nothing for weighting. But what I did find was a ring. How boring. But we're going to use the ring. One ring to rule them all. Here's the ring. And the ring is included there. Leave that as is. And then we go over to the styling. Here you have again general, and then you have container and icon. And this is interesting because sometimes we have that hamburger selector. Sometimes we have them as tabs. This time we have the options as tabs. So click here on icon and I will go to the color first. Click on it and I'll choose this color over here. Looking at it, I think now let's use a little something softer, a little bit more muted. So I'll go to my palette and I'll choose this one. Copy the hex code. I'll go here, select Control Command V, paste that. And then after that, I'm going to add it as well so that I can have it in the future. Size, I go to the size and I'm just going to increase it a number. Let's put it also on something like 72. As I'm looking at that icon and I hover over here, I see a few things. First of all, I want to change the background of this section. To do that, and I'm just going to change the color, I just double click and then go to styling, background, and then I'm going to change the background color. Go to my palette again. I'll use this one, which is soft, and Control Command V, and then again I'll go and add that color. Very nice. Now you see how these are all shaping out very nicely together with each other. So that's my background color. The next thing is that I want to constrain the width of my content. Currently, if you see, my ring is all the way almost here on the left. I just want to bring all of this a little bit closer to each other. To do that, I will increase the padding on the left and right of my row. Take your cursor to the left, and you will see that slight little purple bar. Click and drag, and that's how I'm going to be increasing my padding. Currently, I'm only doing it for the left, and you remember the trick, how to do it for the right. So I'm going to put it on 200 pixels. Okay, then hover over it, drop down, and link them. Did I link them now? Let's see. No, they're not linked yet. Let's try again. Let me go to this side. Why is it not a linking? There we go. Okay. Not always going to work, but we are patient. We do have the patience, except we cannot get to 200. And if you cannot get to that 200, you simply go to your row, then you go to padding over here, and then you will see there is my 201, and I'm just going to bring it one down, so we're exactly at 200. Now we have constrained the size, make it a little bit more easier to read. But I'm going to shock you, and I'm going to bring it in more. It's just, as I'm looking at it, I think I do need less space. I want things to be a little bit more focused. The more space I have, this white space, more is that wedding kind of feeling that we often talk about. Great, so here is the icon. I've got that ready. Click on the icon, and now I want to bring in my next module, which is text. By clicking on it, you see the green button here, or the green icon with the button. Just remove here, and we look for text. You can type in text, but I want to show you there are two text modules, plain text and this one here. The plain text is going to be text without line breaks, no formatting whatsoever. And we don't want that, so we're going to select this one here, the text one, and we enter that. To bring in your text, you go here to the sidebar and you're going to paste it over here. I'm going to bring in some lorem ipsum text. I use this one called loremipsum.io, and then you generate some random text. And I'll grab some text here. Let's not make it too long. Remember, people are not really interested in reading how the tequila night went between Nadia and Alexei. Let's go here and then paste it, Control V, and we make two paragraphs. So I'll go somewhere here and I'll enter a line break. Very nice. And you see it's drawing that font, the Montserrat font that we have been using. And if you want a drop cap, you can drop in a drop cap. I'm not a big fan of drop caps, but I know many people are. Then under this paragraph, I'll add another line break. And then I'm going to type in December 2020. We said yes. Enter again. And a last sentence of lorem ipsum. Where's that last sentence? Let's take a shorter one. Control V. And then I'll go and place the cursor here on this sentence. December 18th, 2020, we said yes. Go up here to paragraph and I'll select heading 3. You can see in this case that the font doesn't work well with the way we wrote it. It's not a good idea to use this font. What we'll do is we'll go to styling and then under general, go to heading and then choose heading 3. And then we just change the font also to Montserrat. And this is on a case-by-case basis. We can change the font weight. Let's put it on something thicker, like 600. That looks much better. I put it on that, and I think that looks good. And even if we want to change the font color, let's do that. So we choose this color. Yep, that looks nice. And now we have this little blurb, our story, the tequila night on the beach. And then we said yes, hopefully not that same night. And then a little bit of information, and we bring a button at the bottom. And this button again is going to be an RSVP button that we want to bring in here. Let's bring in a button again. So we click here on the plus, and then where is our button? At the top, click in, select the button, and then we put it on small, large. We did it have large. We put it on round to keep it consistent, circle. And then the background is fine. And then we leave all of that, and we're just going to say here at the text, join us. Join us. And for the link, that's also going to be our RSVP link. So #RSVP. And then to make some changes here, because we want things to look nice and consistent, go to styling, background. This time we put the color on the dark one. Oh, that is that background. No, we don't want that. So let's just say delete that. This will be the icon. Let's see. Little mistake there. Nope, that's icon. Button link, background. I'm hopping around here. Finally, we got it. Okay, so that's the button link background. And then the link is probably going to be the text, I pray. Let's use this one. Great stuff. And now let's add a hover effect. You would have noticed, if you've been paying attention, almost for everything, there is a normal behavior, which is your default state, and next to it is hover. If we go back to background, we click on hover. I'm going to select, and then I'll choose the same color. Then I'll just reduce the opacity a little bit. So now if you hover over it, it's going to make that change for it. Let's save it. Let's see what it does for preview over here. Okay, you can see there. And let's take it away. If I collapse this, I'm still thinking this is way too much space. So with my editor gone, I'm going to probably increase this around to 350 pixels. There we go. That's good. This is much better. And then I go to my icon. I'll add padding there. And go to the button, and I'll add padding there by dragging it in. A little bit of separation. This looks much better. Let's work with this column. Click on the column and look for emoji. There we go. Click plus. And from our media library, we are going to choose our first About Us image. Our story, insert file. Nice. And that brings it in. Click done here. Let me just see. There's a lot that I can say here, but I think this looks good. So I'm just going to leave that as is. We have to add space here at the top. So I'll go here and I'll bring in this space for our story. Good. And just to show you, if I grab this padding and I drag it in, how it's going to affect. And I actually think looks pretty nice. Very nice. Very nicely done. Good job. Hold on tight. We're not done. We're going to do something very wonky at this moment. We're going to bring in another row within that column. So that is this green plus here you see at the bottom, not this one. Click on the plus and bring in another row with one column. In that column, you go there, click plus, bring in an image. And the image we're going to choose our story 2. Go to the sub row, go to styling, and then here in the options sidebar, position. And I'm going to make this absolute positioning. So I'll click here and click on absolute, and there my image jumps to the top. And now I have to play around a little bit with this image and make a few things happen. We'll come back to this because the first thing I want to do is I want to make this image smaller. So go to the image, which is a module, that's blue, click on styling, no, click on edit. And then here for the width, I'm going to put that on 300 pixels, tab, and it becomes smaller. So let's make it a little bit bigger, 450 pixels, and then tab to log it in. Go again to our sub row, and that is our styling, position, And now you have to just hold on tight. This is not rocket science, but with absolute positioning, you can move this around. And what I'm doing is I'm moving the row around. Unfortunately, the image doesn't have this absolute positioning, so I have to do it with the row or the column. I'm going to do it with the row. The first thing I'll do is I'll put it here on percentage. So currently from the top, if I drag it, you see from the top, I can drag it all the way to the bottom. So let's scroll down and I'll do it like here. And then I think it's this one here, the left, put it also on percentage, and I'm going to drag it in. Aha, do you see what I did there? But what I want to do is also extend it here at the bottom. So let's go to the top again and give it a little bit more. There we go. Looking nice and funky. Okay, so this is our story. And for all intents and purposes, this should look very good on our desktop displays. But let's just have a look at it. Tablet, oh no, okay, so a lot of things go completely wrong the moment we go to tablet. What I'll do is I'm going to work with the padding first. Go to my row, let's put it on tablet, and the reason it looks like this is because of the padding, and I'm going to just drag the padding out. And don't worry, this is not affecting your desktop display. This is only going to be for your tablet, and this is your tablet in landscape mode. Let me just scroll down a little bit so we can see how it looks. Drag it down some more. And look at that. It looks good. Next one is your tablet in portrait mode. And here we have to definitely reduce this a bit some more. Go to the sub row, which is the magenta one. Height. And I'll say something like 600. Let's see how 600. Okay, we still have space. Let's make it, no, let's make it 800. Ooh, not 8,000, 800. And there we go. Okay, so the next one is going to be on mobile. And for mobile, what you want in mobile is stacked view. First, I'll grab this here and I'm going to drag it again to around 360 pixels. This is fine, but this icon, we need to center align it because it's now under our heading. So I'm going to center align the icon. That will keep the same. But now for our image, it inherits the setting we had from the previous one. I'll select the height, I'll delete it just to see how it will look once I delete it. It gets smaller, it looks much better. But then for this one over here, we want to now make it not absolute. So we go to the sub row, styling, position, and we just put it on static. And now it will stack under that one. And that's more than enough. Over here, our button looks wonky. Click on the button, center align the button as well. Reduce the padding at the top, but add some padding at the bottom. And it doesn't matter which padding you add, as long as you have that padding. Phew, that was quite a number of actions. Let's go see. Save our work, and we test it in our developer. See. Refresh. And I'm always nervous at this stage. Doesn't matter. You know, you are confident that you know what you are doing. But anyway, let's first have a look at our desktop displays. Good. And we expect it to look good on these ones as well. Except the small laptop is not really working. See. Okay, MacBook Air looks good. Looks good. Okay, not working 100% on the MacBook Air. We'll have to go make some changes there. Maybe increase that. Also on our tablet, it's not working 100%. But for these two, our phone, that is good. So what I'm going to do for the smaller devices, let's go back and see. On our desktop, maybe we've had some changes. Yep, the desktop has had some changes. Let's go back here to our positioning. I wonder, what did we mess up here? Maybe the image size that changed that. So let's go again to our styling, position, and the top. And then on the right. Okay. It's probably because we changed the image size. I guess that's going to be a standard. And then if we go here again, looks better now. Let's preview it. Tablet. And then tablet is not working. So what is this one? Let's go for tablet. position top, and we reduce it. And mobile is fine. But let's make sure. I say it's fine, but you never know. And things hang a little, so I'm just going to refresh that page, turn on the builder. And I find that happens like once or twice in a session that you do go through these things. And here we are again. Okay, so let's look carefully at what we've got going here. Our image is not displaying properly. I decreased the size of our image, so let's put on our height again. And what did we say? We said 800. So let's do that, and let's work from there. Then I'm going to leave this because I think this is fine. Now let's not mess it up again. Let's go to Tablet Landscape, Tablet Landscape, Tablet Portrait, and Mobile. And then Mobile, click on it, go to Styling. This is a sub row, go to Styling, Position, and put it on Static. Just drag this again to 360 so we can see what's going on here. So I understand that maybe the image height is fixed, but then this at least looks better. And I'm going to stick with that. I'm not going to mess anymore with that because I'm already nervous at what I'm doing. And we go back to our desktop. Save your work, and you can also use the shortcut key for that. As I hover over it, you see the tooltip Control S, Command S, Control S, Command S. Scroll to the bottom, and we're still busy with our story, or rather their story. But this time, let's not reinvent the wheel. With Themify, you get a lot of pre-made blocks and templates that you can use. I'm going to add a new row here. And then on the side, you will see blocks. Click on blocks, and it's going to open this library for you from where you can choose what you want to use, pre-made ones, and you just bring them in. And the one I'm going to look at is this one over here, Zigzag Photos. The idea, though, whenever you use one of these templates, is to make as few changes as possible. But at least it gives you a very good starting block. Click on that, and it's going to bring it in. And then I have this row now here with my sub rows and columns. And the first thing I'll do is add space at the top. So I'll do it like so. And then I'm going to switch out the images next, so we have an idea of what's going on here. Click on this one, which opens the module settings for us. Go to Image, delete this one, and bring in the next one, which is Nadia. Nadia. Is this Nadia? About Nadia, yes. Okay, and we go to the next one. Click on that. Delete this one and bring in, what's his name? Alexei. Insert file URL. Ooh la la. Okay. Now we just want to say something about Nadia. This is a text box. Click on it. Over here. Nadia. We're going to remove the link. We don't want anything about Nadia's link. And we grab a few sentences about Nadia, her established career, and how this may just be. Okay, let's add a blind break there. You can see you can build that one out. Then we go to our friend, Mr. Alexei. Click on it. Change his name first. And put in a few photos for Alexei. Interesting. View my large collection photos from personal wedding photos. What a coincidence. And we grab a few nonsensical gibberish for him. Control V. Add a paragraph there. Remove the link. Backspace. And we need to make changes to this font. So click again here on Styling, and then select here the module heading, not module title, heading. And what is this set at? Let me just go check text. It's set to heading 2. Good. So this is a different heading 2 because it has been overridden with Abril Fatface. I'm just going to type in there Parisian, Parisian. Nice. And we do the same for this one as well. Styling, general, heading, heading 2, font family, PAR, Parisian, override. Nice. Now, the great thing about this pre-made block that we've brought in and added this information about these two lovely birds in love is that there are some nice animations applied to it. Let's save our work. Go to our developer, refresh, and let's focus on the MacBook Air. Let me just show you how that's going to look. Focus. Right, so here is our site. As I scroll down, our story, nice, nice. That image just keeps popping all over the place. And then look here, as I scroll, you see there's a little bit of movement for Nadia. And as I scroll to Alexi, he scrolls in nicely. And that's all done with animations within Themify. Really cool feature there. Just see, so that's our MacBook Air. That little absolute positioning of mine just doesn't want to work. It works okay for this one, but it doesn't want to work really nice on that one. And here I will tell you the following. If you get this kind of thing, you cannot make it work, don't be special. Just take it out, put it at the bottom, and keep it, as simple as that. So what I'm going to do, often people say, don't do this, don't do that. I'm going to go ahead and delete this because it's just not working the way I want it to work. The world of responsiveness is not on my side. What I'll do is I'll come here, I'll click on this plus, go to modules, and I'll bring in an image under it, and then we'll add them there. Insert. And why did you go over there? Drag you down here. Good. And then just click on this one again, and now I'm making many changes that I'm going to regret. But I'd rather be happy with it than crying long crocodile tears. Let's go to tablet, same thing we have to do here. Okay, but what I want to do then is go to my column. Let's go just one back to desktop, go to the sub row, and you will see here is the alignment. I'm going to put it in the middle, which means if I go to tablet landscape, now my text here is aligned to the middle. Tablet, same thing, great. Mobile, it should be stacked. And remember, we are not going to use that crazy one, to be using 360, so it will look okay on that. Perfect, perfect. I can relax a little bit on that one. Good, so this is our story section for Nadia and Alexi. We're done with it. Time for a gallery. Let's bring in a new row. Going to just stick to one column. And then we have that here. There's our row. Let's change the color of our row. And we go to styling, background. This time let's go for something darker. But this one is maybe too dark. Let me see. We have this one here. Okay. Copy that color. Paste it there in the hex field. And just add it. Now we bring in the same title that we had up here for our story. So instead of redoing all of this, remember what we're going to do. Click here on duplicate. Then go to this one. You see I have that move tool. Click and hold and just drag it to the bottom and it scrolls. And I drag it there where I see the blue bar. Great. And then for this one, let's go and just match them. Why it doesn't do that, let me go to the bottom then instead. It seems the bottom one works better when I try to link them. Link them, and let's see. Icona doesn't want to do that. Maybe I'm pressing wrong. I'm going to try and see. Nope. Okay, I want to have around 120 at the top and at the bottom. Enough of that. Let's bring in our image gallery. So here to bring in a new module, look for the plus in the green icon and then look for gallery. You can just type in the gallery. Over here you see the gallery. I'll click and drag and I'll drop it here below it. And then we choose the images for the gallery. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these that I want. Add to gallery, very familiar one, and then update gallery. You can see these have some captions with them, which I don't want to use. So let's see what's going on over here in the edit section for the gallery. You have a module title. So if you want to add it there, you can do it there. And then you have layouts. You've got grid, showcase, lightbox, slider. We'll get back to these. And then pagination, image title, no. Image caption, no. I'm going to switch that one off as well. Then let's go back and you see here masonry. I'm going to activate that. I want to have a masonry layout here. Why nothing has changed? Let's save it. Let's refresh the page. Scroll down. And you will see still nothing has changed. And the reason nothing has changed with the masonry is for the following. Click on styling, click on edit, is that the thumbnail width and the thumbnail height is set here by default at 300 by 200. If you want to go masonry, first you have to do is delete this. Delete and delete. And now it will look at those images and sort them for you in terms of masonry, what you've got. What I have done here in advance, I have set them up very nicely. So I have 3 images that are in landscape, these 3, and then these 3 in portrait. What I'm going to do now is arrange them in a way, and it takes a little bit of wangling here. First, I'll put it on 3 columns, and then I'm going to arrange them in a way so that they can fit in very nicely with each other. So this takes a little bit back and forth to change them, to change the order. Click on Insert Gallery. I want to have that one, and then let's see. Update gallery. Okay, so that one is right. And then I want this one to be the longer one, which is this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Update gallery. This, yay, this time it went much quicker. Nice little gallery setup then what I've got here. The trick here is to make sure that you prepare your images in advance and do not rely on the editor to do that for you. Even with a lot of add-ons you can get and pro features, I still would highly recommend that you go and set the aspect ratio, you do your resolution, all of that beforehand and bring it in. It's going to give you much less headaches and then it's going to look perfect like this immediately. Good. I think she's looking at the cameraman. Alexi, don't look away, buddy. Don't look away. Let's then see how this will work on the front end because it comes with a lightbox as well. I'll go here, update it, and then let's see it on our desktop. Focus. Oh, looking good. I really, really like it. Once you look at it on a wide screen, it just all comes together. Our story, more space there. Remember, wedding elegance, more space, more space. Okay. And I think that's even fine. I don't have an issue with that. Breaks it a little bit. Beautifully done. Thank you, Themify, for that. And then here is the gallery. Hover over it, click on it, and it opens a lightbox for you and it loads the image. And this is set to the full size of the image. So pretty big resolution that you can get with it. When you're done, you just click back. And if we go, just have a look at our iPhone. Scroll down. And it's going to give you the gallery in the same small little view here. And same thing when you click on it, it's going to open it and display it very nicely for you. You'll have to change your caption. And then you also have your social links if you want to share that. Great little feature. I think very nicely done. Beautiful, stunning photos. Great stuff. I feel like getting married all over again. No, I don't regret these photo sessions one bit. Good, let's move on. Click again just on the gallery module to make sure that we've covered all our tracks. You've got a lot of other features here still. You have your styling, for the gallery image, you know, controls even for those handles that you get. And then you have animation here, which we're not going to cover in this tutorial, as well as visibility. Ooh, take a breath. Let's work on arrangements. But before we do that, I do want to add more space. I just need more space at the top. I'm going to put 150, and then the bottom is 150 as well for that one, and then same for this one, 150. And if you want to link it and you don't get it to link over here, this is our row. So double click, go to the row padding, then you can just, here, that's top and that's bottom. You can just click on this one and now it is linked as well. So now I can make sure that in the future, these guys remain linked. And I'm a big preacher when it comes about adding white and negative space, because it really helps to focus the attention of the visitor to your site, and it also gives a lot of structure. And in this case, more space really gives a feeling of elegance. This is a wedding website. You don't want things crowded. You want things peaceful. And that's what it will convey here. General information or information. New row, one column. And we are going to copy this one again, duplicate, click and drag it down, drop it. Let's bring in the padding, and we've decided that our padding from now on is 150. So I'm going to try one more time to link it. And if that doesn't work, simply double click, padding here, link them, select 150. No mess, no fuss. And there we have our 150 immediately. We have to change this. I didn't change this. Go to edit, and this is gallery. Bad of me. And then same for this one. We're going fancy heading arrangements. Let's save our work. Control Command S. And we want to create a card listing grid section for all the arrangements of that day. Again, instead of reinventing that wheel, we go here and we bring in a new block. Click here on blocks, and you can filter it. I'm going to look for features. Then let's see that one, that one. This one is the one we're going to use. I just want to have a look at the rest. This one not bad, but not weddingly enough for me. Then we'll use this one, features, click on the plus, and it's going to drop it in there as in a separate, separate row. So what we'll do then in this case, double click on this bottom one, delink them, and I'm going to put in 0 for the padding at the bottom, and then padding at the top reduce. So we basically have 2 rows here, but it's fine. You know, it's not the end of the world. We can work with that. We bring in this section, and it brings in a text element with features, which we don't want to use. So we click here on delete. Sure, yes, take it out. And then this is the areas that we want to work with. So the arrangements, it's like the venue. What are we going to do? How is it going to work, etc. The work. The only problem is that you don't really have full control over making one change here, and it will affect the rest of them. You do get global styling in Themify, but it neglects a few features like the colors of this icon. So I'm not going to go too much into that, but I'm going to show you what we're going to do. First, let's add a little bit of padding here on the side. Double click. And let's link them. Add some more, squash them together. And then we come to this first one. If you click on it, it's going to show you the name of this module. It's called a feature module. Another name often referred to is an icon box or an info box. You have an icon, you have a little heading and a little bit of information over there. All of this is changed over here in the right. So for the module title, I'm going to type in venue. And you see that's going to be at the top. So if we don't want it at the top, we go for feature title. And we type in there venue. That one is too small. And let's leave that lorem ipsum text there. But let's let's add a little more. No one can say that much and tell the full story. Copy, select this, Control Command V, much better, a little too much, delete, but that venue, that feature title, way too small, right? Have a look here under layout. You can also put your icon on the right, which I kind of like, and that was left, this is right, but this is wedding, so we want to keep it like that. The one thing I do not like is that circle, and the color is mainly the main problem. So we click here and we choose a color that we feel good with, and we leave that little bit of animation in there. Not bad. Then we change the icon. You can also put an image in there. We're just going to click here on that lightning bolt and go to Font Awesome. And this is going to be hard to find. This is venue, so let's say location. If we can find a location, let's use this one. Okay, and this is all the changes that we can make to the content. Then we go to styling next. And general, let's go to the feature title. That's this one. And we increase the font size. There we go. That's much better. And I think that's all we need to do here. Then feature icon. Let's see if we can change the icon also a little bit. Much better as well. And then I think we are done. No, let's go also to feature content. And what we'll do is we'll actually reduce the font size. We'll put it on 14, which is smaller. And then for the line height, type in 1.1, but remember to put it on M. That's what we use for line height. That looks much better. Okay. Then I think we need to put a little of padding on the left and the right. So let's do that as well. We go to general, padding, and then we connect left and right, and we just drag it up a little bit to around 35. And now that we've padded it, you can see the line height is a little bit squashed. So back and forth, but that's how it works. We go to feature content and line height. Let's increase that to 1.2. That looks better. Let's change also the color of that one to a lighter color. Oh, that changes both. Okay, but that's it. Up here, you see this feature called Global Styles. Now with Global Styles, I can take everything that I've done here and I can give it a styling name and then apply it to these guys. But you're going to see that it's not going to apply to the circle. So Themify guys, please watch out for this one. There's still a little bit of global styles that can be changed. If I click here on global styles, I'm going to say I'm saving this. So everything I've done here, I've saved. So I'll call this info box style. You'll see now in a jiffy how that's going to work. Say OK. Would you like to apply? Yes, I want to keep it for this one. So I say yes. Then I go to the next feature block, click on it, and then go to styling, global styles, insert global styles, and then you see info box style, and it will insert it. But look at that. It doesn't do it for that one. And the reason is that color for the circle isn't set under styling. They have it here under edit. This is a mistake. It should be under styling, something they can fix there. So what can we do? Let's go to this one, duplicate it, drag it here on top of that one, and then we simply delete this one. I know, right? But hey, remember, if you can do it this way, then you just do it this way. It's a few clicks. I know you wish that it was smoother, but like I said again, don't care about that. And then we just do the same for these guys. And the only thing that is annoying is the fact that I have to talk and make sound like I'm saying something sensible while we're doing this. But we're almost done. Drag it there. Okay. Word of warning though, it should have been actually a good idea of me to go and test for responsiveness first before I did that copy, so I could copy it all in one go. But now that we at least have the color for the top, we can maybe do that with the global stylings next time. What we do next is we make changes to the content. Let's call this one a picnic. We change the icon. This is going to be an interesting one. Let's see if I can find a bag. Okay, shopping bag. Yep. Next one, click on it. This is where we're going to have the ceremony. So all the details about the ceremony go in here. Event, building, let me see, building. Okay, yeah. Alrighty. In this one, we're going to call this one the after party. Yes, there is even an after party for those animals that want to go until early morning. After party. Let's see, balloon. Balloon. There's no balloon here. Let's see for party. Ah, come on. Who doesn't have a party? Okay, I'm going to put in a bowl. Cloud meatball. Okay. And so the icons are a little limited. And I would probably say you want to use an image instead. Next one, click here on venue. And then this is attire. Attire. Come on, you should have something on clothes. Clothes? No. Let's see if Themify has anything on clothes. Also no. Let's look at shirt. Ah, there we go. And click on the last one. Weather. Already have that clouds. Let's see if we can see sun. Sun we do have. Okay. Let's save this and go through our tablet. Okay, for tablet, let's reduce this. Tablet, again, let's reduce it a little bit more. And then we probably have too much padding for these guys, right? And then over here, these will be stacked. And stacking is always the preferred way to go when you are in mobile. So here for the arrangements, this is way too big. Let's go to styling. This is our heading. Font, reduce this. They are okay. Save. Put it back on desktop. Scroll to the bottom. What's next, Sally? Let's save our work. Control S, Command S. We bring in a registry. Let's bring in another column. Like this. And then we just copy this one again up here. Duplicate. Click and drag to the bottom. Drop it in. And then we add padding again. Double click on that. Connect them. 150. This is the great thing about when you work with something again and again and again is these shortcuts and how you get to places become much more intuitive. Click here on our edit and then over here, registries. And this is where people will go online or even to a store and buy goodies for you. We will just bring in 3 logos here. And I think what we can do, yeah, let's bring in 3 logos. So this time go to modules and we bring in a sub row with 3 columns, starting to learn the terminology here. I'll go to the sub row first and styling of the sub row. Then I'll go to padding and I'll disconnect him. Then I'll connect the left and right and then I'll bring it in and you can slightly see how that is moving there. I'll bring it almost to around, let's see. Let's put it on 150 for now. Good, 1, 2, 3. For this one, bring an image. Our first registry will go in here. Add. And bakery. I don't know what you want from the bakery, but you never know. Next one, image. Plus, travel. And next one, image. Remember to click on that one. Organic. Let's reduce a little bit the space here at the top. And what we'll do is you have to click on this guy, go to edit, and then you have to add an image link in here to a site. I'll just put this on https://www.websitesforbeginners.io. And let's do the same. Control copy. But we want to say new tab. We don't want them to leave this one. And we do the same for the others as well. Image link. new tab, image link, new tab, save. And let's go view this. I'm going to just select this one, the URL, Control Command copy, and I'll open an incognito window. I'm using Microsoft Edge, which is great running on Chrome, but you can use Chrome, Safari, whatever tickles you. And then I'm going to paste this one and see how this looks for a visitor. Good. So this is a fresh new one. I come down to our registries, arrangements, registries. And if I click on bakery, it should take me to websites for beginners in a new tab. This is exactly what you want to achieve here. You want people to go to the shops and it will take them to the shop where they can register for the gifts that they are going to buy you for your wedding. And that's going to be it. To put a little bit of change and definition between these, let's just change the color of this column here. Double click on the column, go to styling, background, and let's put the color on this light one. And I don't have that in PNG. Oh, how embarrassing. But I actually think it looks nice with the boxes, if I have to say so myself. And what you can do with the boxes, let's go to styling. There should be shadow. Yep, there's a shadow down here. You can add a little bit of a shadow. Box shadow. What is this? Horizontal, offset, vertical, blur, and spread. So if I'm going to start with the spread a little bit, blur that, and then you're going to come in here, use your dark color, not black like I told you earlier, and reduce your opacity. Very nice. Oh, yep, that looks good. In fact, I'm going to say, don't do this. Let's delete all of this and I'll show you what we're going to do. We're only going to use this for our hover. So currently nothing there. Then select hover and we do the same. We add it on 3 or 6 and then we increase the blur. And then from here we select this one and we reduce the opacity. Right? Put it back on normal. And if you hover over it, it's going to give you that, like, you can select it. Nice indicator to people, hey, you can click me. And then let's see if this will work now. So we are here, we're going to go for global styles. And we save this global style, we call it logo shadow. Shadow on the wall. And yes, okay. Click on the next one. Styling. Global styles, insert global style, and then logo shadow. Next one as well. Let's see if we have success. And insert global style, logo shadow. And now, as we hover over them, they all do that. Save. Let's have a look at tablet. Wish I didn't have to scroll down every time. Okay, tablet looks good. And then tablet portrait. Here, I want to reduce this a little bit and also reduce a little bit up here. Good. And then mobile should stack it. Let's see if it's going to stack it. Mobile is going to stack it, but I'm going to apply. And then from here, I'm going to just add, what is that? 16. So if I come to this one, I also add around 16. There we go. Remember, this mobile is way too big, so let's take it down to 360. It's a good thing I did that, right? Okay, we just increase it again. Great. Let's preview it. You remember the preview button here? And then we can choose our tablet. Let's choose a Galaxy Tab 10, just to be different. Maybe remove a little space there. And then for mobile, iPhone XS. Okay, padding. There we go. That's it. And take off the preview. Let's save. Control Command S. We've basically gotten there. Now that last part is we want to bring in the contact RSVP section. Important about this section is that we want people from the beginning to be able to go to this section because that's actually why we are creating this site for people to RSVP. We want them when they click here or even here to scroll down and take them to the RSVP section. Let's create that RSVP section first, and then we set up all those links. Click here and then click on the one row, and I will double click on the row. I will make the row height full height, so it gives us this full height immediately. Let's change the background, and we bring an image for the background. We're going to use this one because we're going to have it there on the beach in these caves. Can you believe it? The first thing I'll do from here is I'll go to background mode, and you want to put it on full cover. Close out background and then row overlay. Color for that, let's put a gradient, and I'll leave it on linear, but I'm going to change this direction. Let's put the dark up there. Click on this selector, and then we don't have our good friends over here. This is something that the guys also need to go and look at. I don't have my swatches, but I'm going to grab them again from here. So I'll grab this one. Lots of areas, and this is white, but remember, you always want to stick to the colors, your theme colors, as far as possible, as much as possible. And to bring in the opacity, you grab the transparency slider here and you drag it down. So this one, and if you need a little harder like that, or if you need it a little softer like this, you can also add a third one there, which I don't want to do. Click on this one again and bring it up. Right, so at least we've got a background there. I'm not sure if I like this color at all. Let's see first. Go to Registries, click here, duplicate, click and drag, and bring it into this area. And then, because it's in the middle, we don't have to worry about padding, but we need to make changes here to the color. Go to our heading, font, color, we put it on the light one. And then next one we select is the divider. Border, yeah, border, same color. Let's go to edit and change here to RSVP. And that doesn't look good. Let's see if small letters RSVP doesn't work. Then, because it doesn't work, we're going to override it. So go back to styling, select heading, and then font family. We will make it Montserrat. It's one of those things you got to do. It just doesn't look good. The RSVP doesn't look bad. And let's make it bigger. That's what I want. Ooh, this looks very official. RSVP, RSVP. And let's add some text here at the bottom. And that can be a subheading. So all we need to do is go back to our editor over here, fancy heading, subheading. Let's grab a sentence or two like, please respond. If you don't respond, we'll be so sad. We'll just run into the ocean. Subheading, Control Command V. Then we go style that one. Subheading. Start with the font. We're going to override that. Also make it Montserrat. Change the color. Change the width to, let's say, 300. Font size, I'm going to put that on 14. And then we definitely want to constrain the padding. So for that, you choose General, Padding, link left and right, and then I'll type in 150. It's going to probably, let's make it 200. And then the line height here, we have to go change. That will be our subheading. Font, line height 1.2, and remember to put it on M. That looks much better. We need some space. That's our divider. Margin, bottom, increase that. Great, so we have this all ready for the RSVP. The only thing we need now here is a contact form. Control S, Command S to save it, and you'll hear me say that all the time and do it all the time. You never know. Does Themify come with a form element? Let's see. We go here to add a module, and then we look for a form here. And the interesting thing is you're not going to see a form here. But if you go to blocks and you go to the filter at the top, you're going to see a selection for contact. And when you click on that, you're going to see a form element. Let's see, let's add this one. It's going to bring in a new section, but I want you to notice what happens. There is no form in there. Where is this form? And that is an additional add-on that you have to add to Themify to get that contact form. Let's delete this entire row. Yes. Make sure that we save, and then we go to the back end. And this is where we're going to bring in our contact form. At the very beginning, and now we really turn back the hours, I had shown you the Themify updater and basically said it's not really an updater, it's more like your hub for all things Themify. And I reminded you that once you install it, it becomes the Themify license, and you'll find it under dashboard up here. Go to Themify license, and this is a add-on for your builder. So we go to plugins, builder add-ons, and then you will see already over here, you have your contact. Click on install. Are you sure you want to do this? Yup. And essentially it's a plugin. If I click on activate plugin, and we just go have a look in our plugins folder, which is here, and there it is, you will see the builder contact is now included. This may look a little bit strange, and again, remember history and remember where we are today. The fact is that the Themify Builder, which we've been using up to now, is essentially free, and you can use it with any theme. But if you go and buy the Pro versions and the Themify Master Club, then you get these add-ons, which you can then easily bring in on a modular basis. That means if we go to our pages, and we should only have the one page, I can now just click here on Themify Builder, and it opens for me, turns on Builder. And when we scroll to the bottom now, under RSVP, click here on Bring in a new module, and we search here for contact. We're going to find it over here with the little envelope. Click plus, and it brings it in for us. We need to make a few changes here. From the edit settings here in the sidebar, let's look at the style 2, style 3. Ooh, I like that one. And animated tabs. I think we're going to go for style 2. Then the recipients, this is the people who will be receiving it. So you can leave it on the admin email if that is yours, or you can add in the email you want. And if you want more people to receive it, maybe your husband, your mother, whoever is arranging this, then you're just going to add a comma and type in more email addresses. Then each one will get a copy of this email when people respond. You see, to send to multiple recipients, comma, separate the mail addresses. Then you have normal form features, specify from address, and you can go through all of this, even GDPR if you want to enable that or disable it. And a success URL that will take them to another thing, success message, something like thank you so much, exclamation mark, default subject. All of this you can enter, no need for that. Send from, include, name and email, include name and email in message, right? Let's say that. And then we have the labels over here. So you have name, and we'll make styling changes soon, email and subject. And we don't need that. We know what the subject is. Are you coming or not? Add a field. So let's see what is the field, radio or select. And the first one, I'm coming, and add another option, sorry to disappoint. Then we have that in there. And this is required, and you see that field is over there at the bottom. And then let's move the message down. You see I'm dragging it simply like that. Let's wait, field, I'm gonna drag that up. There, over here, very nicely done. And then we have a message, say additional message. And you can add a captcha, send copy, newsletter. No, we don't want that. And the send button, and we leave that. Let's put the send button in the center to keep everything center aligned. Most important is to make styling changes. And remember, we have quite a number of things to choose from here. We have general, module, field labels, input field, send button, the works. Let's start with the labels. Labels are these headings at the top. So we go to field labels and we leave it for the font, but we change the color to the same light one. Good. That one we've got. Font size is fine. Then next one, input fields. This is the input fields background. Let's change the background also to this color, but always a good idea to reduce the opacity a little bit, just to add a little bit of touch to that one. Fortunately, this one doesn't have that. Let's just click back here, styling and input fields. And that is good. Next, send button. Background, let's mix it up. Background color, make sure this is the right one. Let's put it on dark. Good. Now let's put it on light and we put the text on dark. Font color dark. And then for hover, we're going to change that a little bit, make that this color. Normal, hover. Ooh la la, there's a little bit of shadow already applied to it. Let's save it and then have a look here on the preview. The only problem here for me is that it's a little too wide. I would like it narrow, constricted a little bit to fit in with these. So let's get preview off. And for that, I'm just going to double click on my row, go to padding, link it, and am I in row? Yes, I'm in the row. Quite an amount. So where are we? 260, around 250. That would be good. Click out. Let's see if we preview it now. I didn't see no change. And we also have to add padding at the top. So let's select that and type in 150. And I think what's happening is that we don't need this row at full height anymore. So if I just go to row height, I can just say default so that we stick to that. It sticks to 150 at the bottom and then this on the side. Say done, and let's close this. Okay, way too big. Let's click on padding. And how do we open it? Over here on the right, double click on the row. And instead of using that, let's remove that padding. I'm going to put it on 25, but then instead of pixels, going to put it on percentage. Oh, this is the top. Put it on 150 pixels. That's going to be crazy pixels. There we go. And then left and right, put it on 25%. So it will give me 25%, 25, so we have 50% in the middle. This should do what I wanted to do. And actually, interesting, I keep forgetting about that. Let's just reduce this then. Ah, nice. RSVP. Club Mykonos, here I come. There we go, that looks much better. Let's go and test this form to see if it actually will work the way we think it will work. So I'll open an incognito window for that. Let's grab the URL again. Control-Command-C. Go here, new in private window. Paste that. We are engaged for liftoff. Nice. And I have an idea here. I want to redo this, but I'll do that later. Suddenly my mind recalled that I don't have to bring in an image element. In fact, I can just use the background of the column. Great, registries. And here's our RSVP. My name is Joe Pine. Joe Pine at joepine.com. And then let's see, I'm coming. My friends will also join. And then send. Nice. Thank you so much. Ooh, this looks good. And that is our entire page. There are a number of things we're going to do now here to clean it up and do a little bit more. Let's close this private window. Let's go back here and just save everything. And then let's work it from the top to the bottom. First of all, let's make our header transparent. Go to the backend. In the sidebar, Themify Ultra, Themify Settings, Theme Settings, Theme Appearance, Enable Revealing Header, and Save. Let's close these others so we don't get confused. And I'll open the front view. I'll hold Control on my keyboard, Command on a Mac, and then click and drag it up there. Drop it. And now we have this problem. We have it overlapping, but it's not transparent. To do that, you have to go 2 steps. So step number 1 is Enable Revealing Header. Step number 2 is go into your customizer. We'll go to Themify Ultra, Customize. And the options, we go to Header, Header Wrap, and click here on Transparent. Publish. Let's go to the front, refresh, and there we go. Voila, it's looking good. Right. So now we've got that sorted out. The next one that we want to do is when people click on these links, it will take them to the various sections. RSVP takes them all the way to the bottom. Information takes them to arrangements over here. And then registries takes them to the registry area down here. While we're in the front end, we're going to do that within the page builder. So click on Turn on Builder, Turn Me On. And then we are going to the rows of each of these sections. So the first one is over here, Arrangements. Now I forgot what we had called that. Go to the back end, I'll close out of the customizer, Appearance, Menus. And let's just look at these custom links. Information, the custom link is this one, Information, hash information. So we go to the row of arrangements, which is the purple one. Click on that. And then here where it says ID name, you type in the same here, which is information without the hash. So you basically give your row a title, which is information. Next one will be your registries. And I think we just said registry, right? So scroll down until you find registries. We do the same. Go to the row. And registry. And then for RSVP, we do the same. I'll just double click on that. RSVP. Save. Let's go view it on the front end so we can just close the builder by exiting there. RSVP. Oh, it goes a little bit fast, but it gets us there, right? You have to hold on tight. Information, same thing, takes us to arrangements and then registries. Next, we want to style out this scroll to top button here. That is done within the customizer. WordPress toolbar here, go to Customize. And you're not going to find a function for it, but I know from experience, go to the footer. That's where you're going to find it. You'll find the back to top button down here. And let's change the background. Let's just scroll down. We change the background color. Paste that one. And then the color will be for that chiffon. Use this one. Good. See, back to top. Scrolls all the way to the top. Publish to save. Close out. And let's have a look at our site again. This is something you do constantly back and forth. And I know I shouldn't be preaching to the converted, but you know, it's something that when you don't do it and you get lazy over time, you forget about it. You need to constantly keep tweaking. I encounter way too many websites where I think this website is really half-baked. There's still a lot that can be done. Let's look at what Themify can do for you. Extra little bits here and there. And this is extra to this tutorial because I really would say if I were creating the site, I probably would be ending just there. Right, let's turn on the builder and look at a few extra things that you can keep in mind when working with Themify. We go here to the bottom and select the row, click on styling, and that will bring the row up for you. For general, scroll down. For general, go to frame. Now, frame can be a little bit confusing because many other builders use the word dividers, block dividers, shape dividers. In Themify, this is called a frame. But Themify takes the concept of a frame to a whole new level. Currently, anything that you do in Themify brings in a frame at none. You can set it to top, bottom, left, or right, and the left and right already puts Themify in a league of its own. Let's see how this works. You can cycle through these, borders, dividers, frames, and find something that is tasteful. I want to stress that one as much as I can, because these guys can really show how amateur you are when you don't use them correctly. Like if you use that, no, very amateur. So very, very careful with it. And usually it's nice to use it as a form of a transition. So for example, if I use this one here, and then what we're going to do is match color. So if I scroll up, I'm going to match this color with the color of the previous section. Click here and we choose the same color and it looks like this. What I'll do now is I'll increase the padding here, click out here, and then the height of the shape divider of the frame over here, I will reduce that. So it's on percentage, and 100% will take up the whole frame, but I will just do it slightly a little bit like this. And with width, you can also play around with that. We want it at 100%, so I'll just delete all of that. The idea is when you do it like this is to repeat it. So when I go here to the top at Registries, we kind of want to do the same with Registries. I'll click here on the row options, styling, go to frame, select the same one. And this time we're going to match that color up there, which is this one. Ooh, not that one, which I guess is white. Yeah, it's white. And then the height we're going to just add a little bit of. So you bring in that consistency. Yeah, I'll already say be careful, because as I look at it and I scroll down, I think it's a little too much. It just doesn't do it for me. Before we finish off, let's have a look at a few other functions that you will find typically in Themify. Talk about the modules, and the modules are all these that you can add as content. We have rows and we have a page break module, which is very interesting. We'll do that in the Themify complete tutorial. Under this, here are all the modules that you can bring in that creates your content for you. You have an accordion, and I was thinking an accordion would be here under your arrangements, and it would be good to bring in the accordion over here. So let me just quickly see that again. Click outside. Done. If I click and drag the accordion, and I drag it here, I'll drop it there. And then we have the accordion now under there. And what you can do here with an accordion is very typical, is you can have questions. So accordion title, which is the best place to stay. And then you can give your visitors some information over that. Close that. And then you add a new one. How long is the drive from the airport? And think of the kind of questions that your visitors would want to know. Not your visitors, rather your guests. What are fun things to do in the town where it's being hosted? Recommended food, recommended restaurants. And for each of these, you put your comments in there. And that's where the accordion is going to be truly nice. You can have it with separation as well. And then a lot of rounded, seeing that we've been working with rounded. And then you go to your styling up here. And again, you have a lot. You have your module title, container, the title, icon, and content. And that would be very nice to bring in an accordion for people to see and get a little bit more extra information about the wedding that's going on. We have an alert module. There's a box, which is an info box, call out, very good for call to actions, and a divider. Up here, we had brought in our own divider, but you're going to see if you want to go and start making your own divider, it's actually pretty impressive. So let's bring a divider and we drop it here under registries. Let's go to registries first, styling, go to our fancy heading, and then over here, disable the divider. Let's click on this divider again. Can I select it? Let me see if I can find that divider. Styling, fancy heading. There's the divider. First thing I'll do is go to bottom margin and add space there so we can see it. And then let's play around with dashed lines that we've got over there. Have your thickness here. Two. And then, of course, you can change the color. And the width over here, custom, overlooked that the first time. Let's put it in the center. Right. And this is how you can build out your own custom divider instead of using the fancy heading for your divider. We've worked with the feature. The feature is this one over here. That's an info box. We work with the gallery. Icons, similar, images. Layout part is when you bring in templates that you have created before the time. You have a login to your site, a map, you have your menu, opt-in form. Interesting one. We'll do this in the next tutorial for Themify Complete. Overlay content. Very, very cool one. And then you have a few others as well. Everything that you need to get yourself going. For inspiration. When it comes to inspiration, often you need layouts, ready-made layouts. And we had those blocks that have been created by Themify. But you can actually work with entire pages as well. If you want to kickstart any page that you build in Themify with such a layout, up here in the toolbar, you will see an option for layouts. Click on Load Layout, and this will give you all those layouts that Themify has from all the skins and demos. There's quite a number. You'd first go probably to the category up here, and you will choose if this is a home page and what is the kind of thing you're looking for. Let's say work, travel, full screen, event. So click on event, wedding, right? There we go. And then let's see here, they've got a wedding 3. Over here, you can click on the preview, which will open it for you in another tab. And this is going to give you something very different to what I had done. Very different styling. There's a wedding countdown. Then you have your gallery and your contact form. I think mine looks better. And then over here, you also have a map. But what I really like when I bring in these templates is that if you want to understand how it was achieved and how the builder works, then working with a pre-made template and layout is always a good way to go. If you are learning Themify and you want to really understand how it works, my recommendation is come to one of these, click on them, and append to layout or replace. If I click on replace, I'm going to lose everything that I've done. I don't want to do that. I just want to put it at the bottom. Click on append to layout. And Themify is going to do the nice job of giving me that layout and appending it here at the bottom so I can have a look at what they've done. So for example, and you'll see that it takes the same styling as how I had set it in the customizer. Wedding countdown. Where is the countdown? Let's save the work. Let's go to the back end. From the toolbar, we go to dashboard, Themify license, plugins, builder add-ons, and go down until you see something that looks like a countdown over here. It's also a pro add-on. So we click install, OK. It will install the plugin for us, activate plugin, and then go to the front end. But because it wasn't installed at the first time, if I scroll down now to that area there, it's not going to be there. So let's turn on the builder and let's bring in another instance of this page. So I'm going to do exactly the same. We click here on layouts, load a layout, search for event, click here on the event, append to layout, and we add another one. And if I scroll down now, we should have our countdown here. And what I would do in this instance, many times, if I think, oh, this looks pretty cool, what I can do now is I can go here to the three dots and click on save module. And I will call this my countdown for wedding. Click on save. Let's go to our page at the very top. And I'm getting a little bit of motion sickness here. And under RSVP, let's say here, I'm going to add that countdown. Saved. You see the save. Modules. And there is my countdown. I click and drag it. I drop it there. And there is a countdown. How awesome is that? Let's click on it, make a few changes. First thing, we're going to change the year, which is 2021. Which is not going to wait that long. And we set it December 18th, which is a Saturday. That's 1 year and 26 days away. Change custom color, this one. Ooh, this is for the background. I don't think we want that. So this is not the one that we want. Definitely no, delete that. So it's this color, but let me go up here to styling, font, and change the color over here. There we go, very nice. Then we need to add a little bit of space there, margin, delink it, margin at the bottom. And they're separated a little bit. Ah, good. Don't forget about those add-ons. Remember, they are there, but be vigilant in how you use them. Dashboard, Themify license, plugins, builder add-ons, and all of these add extra functionality to your builder. If you want pro maps, pricing table, you want to bring an audio playlist, infinite background, typewriter styles, infinite posts, timeline. Remember, one of those that we had looked at was a timeline. And a timeline is actually very cool for a wedding site because it can show, when did they meet? How did it happen? When was the first time she ran him over with her car? Those kind of things that you can put in there. Counter, yes, another one. Fit text, that's a right cool effect. But be careful. I think what you get with the builder as is really good. And then a few like the countdown and the contact form, you're going to come and look for them over here. And I think it's time that we call it a day with Nadia and Alexei. They are going to wait another year or so before anything happens for them concretely in terms of tying the knot. And this website may just be for all in vain by the time we get there. But at least we would have gotten those RSVPs. Great one-pager site. You don't need more. Don't go big on it. When they come and they tell you everything they want on that site and all the pages, try and convince them a one-pager. And the reason I would always say one-pager in instances like this, where you're not selling many products, you're not a complicated corporate environment, the reason is for mobile. When people browse a site on a mobile, this makes it very simple for them to browse it. It's just up and down. No need to navigate between different pages. They're on one page. That's all they need. It keeps them focused and it keeps them interested. Second thing is, when we're talking about wedding, you need to splash out on the graphics. You need to go big on the images. That's what people want to see. Even if you look at theirs, which is from Themify at the bottom, you will see images take all the attention. You're always going to have a gallery, something going on there, even from the venue. I have to say, ours looks better. It's been a very long session, but this is what Essentials are all about, is to bring you the little bit and the more so that you can start building out sites and feel comfortable doing so. This is the Essentials for Themify. We'll build it out with Themify Complete in the future, where we will look at multi-pages, and we will also look at the Pro Builder. And the Pro Builder allows us to build our own headers, our own footers, set up our own post archives, single posts, single products and WooCommerce, and so much more. And then also some of those other features, the modules that we covered or the modules that we didn't cover, we will bring some of them in as well. Thank you for sitting through all the way to the end, or just skipping all the way to the end. That's also fine. See you in the next video. From me, JP. Have a great day and stay safe.